Yeah. Burning rubber, tires screaming, engines go berserk. Pit stop precision like surgeons at work. Wheel to wheel, hands on the grip, no chill. Broadcast live, peacemaker keeping it real. Speed demons on the track, hearts racing with the sound. Slide tight in the curves, sparks flying off the ground. Victory's a beast, it don't come easy. Wheel to wheel racing, the ground stay greasy. 360 on the asphalt, danger a flirt. Every lap closer, the tires eating dirt. Peacemaker's lens, the hype ignites. Streaming the chaos under neon lights. Draft game strong, slingshot out the lane. Calculated risk deep in the veins. Checker flags wave, dreams on the brink. Fast decisions where you barely get to blink. Speed demons on the track, hearts racing with the sound. Slide tight in the curves, sparks flying off the ground. Victory's a beast, it don't come easy. Wheel to wheel racing, the ground stay greasy. On the asphalt, danger a flirt. Every lap closer, the tires eating dirt. Peacemaker's lens, the hype ignites. Streaming the chaos under neon lights. Draft game strong, slingshot out the lane. Calculated risk deep in the veins. Checker flags wave, dreams on the brink. Fast decisions where you barely get to blink. Yeah. From amateurs to legends, it's all the same heat. One wrong move might sweep defeat. High octane stakes climb mile by mile. Peacemakers mic hot, added flames to the style. Speed demons on the track, hearts racing with the sound. Slide tight in the curves, sparks flying off the ground. Victory's a beast, it don't come easy. Wheel to wheel racing, the grind stay greasy. Greasy, the grind stay greasy. The grind stay greasy. The grind stay greasy. The grind stay greasy. The grind stay greasy.
Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome in as we get ready to rock and roll here with the Wheel-to-Wheel Racing League as we get ready for our first race back here in these NASCAR Cup cars, and this is gonna be another great day here at the Speedway. As we do see Bill Fisher in the chat says good luck tonight, Jordan. Anna Alessandro in the chat as well says good luck tonight, Landon. And Mrs. Holler in the chat, how are you? Sure Holler coming in showing the love, says oh my god, the Peacemaker back in town, so happy you're the best. I appreciate that, Mrs. Holler coming in showing the love here in this one. Let's keep that chat flowing here this evening as these drivers are about to get going, as here we go, getting ready to set them loose here for our clash at Dover. Starting on the pole here in heat race number 1 is the 61. This is Lucien, hopefully I'm getting this right. I'm probably getting his name wrong. Lucien Thomas Perriman starting in the top position. I believe that is Perriman. That is at the end there. I'll have to double check that. Joseph Smith will start in second with Jackson Branscombe starting in position number 3. Wyatt Mickelson, Virgil Perriman rounding out our top 5. And look out, we already got one driver turned around. The 61 goes for a skid down through the front straightaway right there. That's a tough break, as we did see, and unfortunately, a couple other drivers that got off to a rough start. Landon Burbage and Marquin Brewer both started down pit side and on pit road. So as they get rolling, here comes Wyatt Mickelson, who kind of had nowhere to go there with that spinning number 61 ride. No caution flags here in these heat races. No yellows. No yellows will keep them clean and green. Now, good news is that I don't think there was enough drivers signed up. Now, we should be doing, let me double check here. Event rules, there we go. So I do believe we are doing 3 heat races, 30 laps each heat race. 7 drivers will advance. Now, with that being said, I don't believe we're going to be going to a consolation race, so we'll be able to skip the consi. That means we'll move in to our warm-up session and then straight on to our 100-lap A-main feature event to see who can try to win here this evening. As Huey in the chat says, Wheel to Wheel is back. Yes, sir, it is back. Martin, how are you, brother? Coming in showing the love, says good afternoon, man. Good afternoon. How are you, mister? Hopefully you're having yourself yourself a wonderful night as all these drivers out on the racetrack, man, they are rolling and they are rumbling. As you do see that 61, obviously the issues on that start, sitting at the back of the pack, is out in front, feeling A-OK in the Fish Speed number 31 machine. Joseph Smith running away here with this first heat race of the evening. Virgil Perriman sits back in second. He's got Jackson Branscombe in the 20 there behind him in that third position. Landon Burbage, who had to start from pit side, he rolls there in fourth. Wyatt Mickelson going to round out our top five. Marquin Brewer back in that sixth position in the Cummins number 14, and Lucien Thomas Perriman back there in position number 61. I better make sure I get that right. It's not Perriman, it's Parmenter. Thomas Parmenter. Parmenter. I'll have to try to remember that. Parmenter. His name is so long that my SDK doesn't completely get his full name on the board. So, Thomas Parmenter here this evening. I wonder if I can just go with Lucien Thomas, but we'll wait and see what he says. And we'll have to make sure we get that first name correct as well, because we're probably getting it completely wrong. If you're in the chat and you know the 61 of Lucien Thomas Parmenter, let me know in the comments section if I'm saying his name right, if I need to correct anything. We always want to try to make sure we get the new drivers' names right here as quickly and as fast as we can. As Virgil Perriman, Virgil rolls back there in that second spot, looking fresh out on the racetrack. Man, this car is looking clean, man. Looking clean, looking really nice here this evening. That Hoonigan machine rolling in that second position. There's that wild sign number 20 of Jackson Branscombe sitting there in that third position. Now, for a lot of these drivers, this is more fundamental now. They kind of just got to hit their marks, not make any mistakes, not put themselves into a bad position where they go around, and it could potentially work into their favor for a really good starting spot here this evening with the random pill draw heat races. You know, it's kind of luck of the draw where you get to start, not only for the heat race, but also where you get to kind of roll out. If it's that first one, obviously for the 31 of Joseph Smith, he's in line. If he wins this heat race, if he keeps the top spot, he will start in the pole position here for our 100-lap A-main feature event. The driver's back behind them. Now they'll slide back a couple rows here, and unfortunately we'll fall back a little farther on the starting grid. But, you know, if you start here in heat race number 1, you win it, yeah, put yourself on the pole position. If you're heat race number 2, highest you can start is in position number 2 for that feature event. And if you're the one driver that wins heat race number 3, unfortunately you're just slotted in on the wrong heat race. Farthest forward you can start is position number 3. So for even Virgil Perriman, if he can hang on to position number 2, he should start virtually in that second row of our A-main feature event. He would start in position number 4 out there on the racetrack. When we look back at Jackson Branscombe, Branscombe's going to be starting in row number 4 in about the 7th position here for our A-main feature event. So you keep kind of sliding back that 3 spots every position that you don't gain out there on the racetrack in your heat race, and that could be, you know, a big miss and could be a big lost opportunity to try to start a little closer and give yourself a little bit better of a chance to win tonight's race. Now, I know that it is Super Bowl Sunday. The Super Bowl is on right now. I know the last I was watching or whatever, I watched a little bit, peered in, saw what the scores were, got a parlay in, so trying to see if we hit those numbers, but we turned it off. I think there was, you know, still a couple minutes left of the second quarter, and I think they Seattle was up 6-0 or whatever, a couple field goals. So, you know, that game, you know, looking like it could be a really good defensive game, low scoring, but I'm sure in the second half things may break open. You know, New England may change their game plan, their plan of attack. Who knows what they may be able to do, or hell, who knows? Maybe they put up some points there before the halftime as Bad Bunny halftime. Glad I'm missing that one. But for Joseph Smith, he's out in front, and he is feeling A-OK as we're halfway through the first heat race of the day. These are fairly long heat races. Honestly, I think they were supposed to start 10 drivers in each heat race. If we had the numbers here this evening, obviously we've had a few drivers that have ran into issues and couldn't make it, and a few of them probably weren't going to make it with the Super Bowl and having Super Bowl parties and everything else. So car numbers definitely going to be down a little bit, unfortunately, here tonight. We're seeing that right now as we only get 7 cars out here for this, first heat race of the day. Hopefully we can add an extra 1 or 2 in, heat race number, 2 and 3, but I believe we'll probably be somewhere right around that 7 to 6 cars for each heat race here this evening, as we do see Lucen Thomas Parmenter come down pit sign here. So the Celsius, number 61, makes his way down pit road, and unfortunately looks like he's going to hit his pit stall. Obviously that damage off the get-go, spinning there and losing traction as we went green flag racing, and all of a sudden went from starting that pole position, the prime position here, to now falling a couple laps down out there on the racetrack, as Joseph Smith will put him another lap down right there across corner number 1, and for the 31, continue to just click these laps off. And now that things have really obviously broken up, and they've been broken up here, we're going to see, not a whole lot of back and forth racing and everything else. I think everyone's kind of just cemented kind of in where they are, but we do see that the Prince is towing number 2 ride, Landon Burbage, who had to start down pit side. He not only worked his way back around Mark Wynn Brewer, but he also works his way around that wild side racing number 20 of Jackson Branscombe. Branscombe slides back to 4th. Landon Burbage jumps up into that 3rd spot here in heat race number 1. He continues to keep on moving, and down across the line they'll complete lap number 20. So we still got 10 laps left to go here in the first heat race of the day. And if you're that 2 ride, you still got a little bit of time. You can still try and reel in that 18 of Virgil Pearman. Maybe give yourself an opportunity here in position number 2, but he's got to be careful because that 20 ride still showing he's got some pretty good speed here. Jackson Branscombe trying to hang right there with him. He's been getting these big runs, kind of diamonding the racetrack, especially down through 3 and 4, and it's carried a lot of speed down here at the end of these straightaways, and he's been hanging tough with that 2 ride, but we'll have to wait and see if Landon can slowly but surely try to click into the little gap here between him and Virgil Pearman, see if he can try to jump up in battle here for position number 2. But for Joseph Smith, he's out in front. He is feeling A-OK, as he's got about almost 4 seconds now. 3.6, 3.7 seconds between himself and that number 18 ride. So he's sitting easy, chilling breezy right now out there on the racetrack. Virgil, he's kind of sitting there as well. He knows he's still got a couple seconds between himself and Landon Burbage, and as of right now, I don't think he's too worried about the 2 ride catching him. If we start to see Landon really chew in to into that gap, then Virgil may have to start picking up that pace, may have to start putting that foot to the throttle, hoping that he can try and pull a little farther away here and give himself a bit of that break between him and that number 2 machine. But Landon still just trying to hunt him down. The gap is just under 2 seconds now between himself and Pearman, but he's running out of time here with only 6 laps left to go here in heat race number 1. Man, this Fish Speed number 31 Ryan, man, he's hooked up, man. He's been looking fast right from the drop of the green flag, able to avoid obviously the spinning Lucen Thomas Parmenter machine, but he was able to jump out in front, and he's just been setting sail ever since then and continue to build that lead, as now it's about 4.4 seconds. So if he continues on this pace, we could see him opening up, a 5-second gap or better between him and second place here in our first heat race of the day. As Virgil still hanging on to second, with that gap is getting smaller. It's now about 1.2 seconds between himself and that 2 rider Landon Burbage. So Burbage continues to reel him in here, continues to draw in closer and closer to that 18 ride. Now it's one thing to catch him, it's another thing to find your way around him. The gap is now under a second, so you can start to see Virgil Pearman moving around, trying to find some extra speed out there, trying to see if he can, keep that number 2 ride back there at bay. And with only 3 laps left to go, it'll be interesting to see if he can keep him back there. But for right now, Joseph Smith, man, now 4.7 seconds between himself and the 18 ride as Virgil Pearman up the racetrack trying to get a little bit of a better drive down and on-corner exit for the 2 ride of Landon Burbage is carrying a lot of speed down the bottom side here, and he's been able to really roll corner 1 and 2 nicely through the middle and get a great drive off. And for the 2 ride, he has closed that gap. It's about 0.4 of a second, but less than 2 laps left to go now. So for the 2 ride, he may get there. I just don't think he's going to have enough time to make that pass as the white flag has been displayed here in heat race number 1 this evening. So Joseph Smith out in front. Virgil Pearman sits in second. Landon Burbage back there in third. He's only going to have 1 more set of corners to try to take that second spot away as Joseph Smith will see the checkered flag fly. He will win the first heat race of the day for the 18. Looks like he'll just be able to hold off able to hold off Landon Burbage, and for Virgil Pearman able to come home in second there. Landon has to settle for third. Jackson Branscombe back in fourth. Wyatt Mickelson will round out our top 5. Here comes that Cummins number 14. A Marquin Brewer who will finish in 6th, and Lucien Thomas Parmenter will come home in position number 7. Now, luckily enough, all 7 drivers advance into our A main feature event as we'll get ready to rumble here for heat race number 2. So heat race number 2 will get loaded into the sim. They'll jump down pit side and they'll get ready to party hard here this evening and go to work out there on the racetrack and try to put themselves into a good position here this evening as each and every driver getting ready to roll, getting ready to rumble out there on the racetrack is starting in the pole position in the number 37 ride. That is Evan Stewart. To his outside in the number 13, it is Michael Ponder Jr. Starting at position number 3 in the number 10 ride here, at least that's what SDK has him down as, is the 10 of Zach Clater. To his outside is the Fish Speed Racing Machine, Mr. Jordan Fisher, starting there in position number 4. Starting in position number 5 in the National Guard, Dale Earnhardt Jr. Throwback Paint Scheme Machine. That is the 88 of Austin Guerrero, starting there in that 5th position. Behind him will be that 76 in the 1776 Motorsports Machine of Zach Perry. Perry will start there in that 6th position. Unfortunately, looks like Grant Applegate will have to start down pit side. He has not jumped out there for the opening grid here, and unfortunately, he will have to start from pit road, or we'll see if he even jumps out here for this heat race. See, even just coming home, in that 7th position, you'll start at the back of the pack, but at least, you're still making the show. You don't have to race your way in. You'll have an opportunity to battle here in our A main feature event for the Wheel-to-Wheel Racing League's opening race back here this season, man. Wheel-to-Wheel, the Cup Series back here in this 2nd season for our clash here at Dover, man. It's already been a bit of an exciting one there in heat race number 1. Obviously, action right at the get-go. That's something we'll have to look at all evening long, is these restarts, because they can really be pretty treacherous on drivers. We've seen a lot of issues on restarts, trying to get the cars rolling, trying to get the battle, and right here we're going to see, obviously, good run, good drive right there for the field, as they're able to make it nice and easy down and through the first couple corners. Down the back straightaway, everyone so far has been able to keep pointing in the right direction. We did see the 13 ride of Michael Ponder Jr. get a piece of that outside fence, and here comes Jordan Fisher as he's looking to lead lap number 1. I think he may have been able to steal it away from Evan Stewart. I'm not sure if Stewart ended up leading a lap right there, but nonetheless, Jordan Fisher jumps to the point here. Now sits out in front, has the race lead, sitting comfy out there on the racetrack as Evan Stewart slides back into second there. Now, he did get a little piece of the wall last time out of 2 as well, as Ponder still trying to keep that car pointing in the right direction. Obviously got a lot more right front damage than that 37 ride, but he now has the 0. It's actually the 0 ride, not the 10 ride of Zach Clater. Clater working right there behind him in that U.S. Army. The Ranger ride rolls there in position number 4. Here comes the National Guard machine right there as well. Austin Guerrero trying to work his way up and into the battle as the National Guard machine strolls to the outside here of Zach Clater, and he's going to move up into 5th as it looked like Clater down and out of corner number 2. It just got a little bit tight or something because that car has all of a sudden lost a ton of momentum. He ends up losing 2 spots as not only did Austin Guerrero get around him, but so didn't Zach Perry, and that 0 ride falls back into the 6th position. Grant Applegate, unfortunately, still has not jumped out there for this heat race, so we'll have to wait and see if he'll join us here later in the heat race, or if we'll see him out there on the racetrack for our A main feature event. But as of right now, for this 39 ride of Jordan Fisher, Fisher continuing to lead the way, sits out in front, has the top spot. He is feeling A-OK right now on the racetrack as the 37 Evan Stewart still trying to hunt him down. Michael Potter Jr. is there in position number 3 with Austin Guerrero back there in 4th. Zach Perry rounding out our top 5 here on the racetrack as see the 0 ride still hanging out there. Now, for a lot of these drivers, 30 laps here at Dover is still a good chunk of time. 30 laps is still a good distance here, even for a heat race, because you can start to see a little bit of tire wear. You can start to see how these cars change here throughout that 30-lap run. Now, it's going to give each heat race really a good prerogative and a really good, aspect to what their car is doing and what they need to do to make their car maybe that much better, work that much easier out there on the speedway, knowing that, potentially, they're going to have to make some changes. They're going to have to set something different up or try a different setup to try and make sure that they are good to go for this A-Main feature event, but it also gives them a good look at not only what your car is going to do with fresh tires out there on the racetrack, but what the tires and what the car is going to feel like after 30 laps. Now, obviously, if we go longer than that in our A-Main here in the Clash, then it's going to get a little bit more difficult to see, but you see the 13 ride claim that outside fence again, got very loose down and out of corner number 4. Luckily enough, hangs on to it, keeps it rolling, but does lose that spot to Austin Guerrero. So Guerrero jumps up into position number 3 on the racetrack. Michael Potter Jr. falls back to 4th and now has Zach Perry working to his back bumper, and you gotta wonder if the damage here on the 13 ride is starting to really affect his race car as the Black Crown Syndicate BCS number 13 right here this season in that beautiful Ford Mustang. So the Black Crown Syndicate ride. We'll have to try to remember that whenever we see this beautiful car out there on the racetrack, is that it's the Black Crown Syndicate number 13 machine of Michael Potter Jr. He still has that 1776 Motorsports ride of Zach Perry right there behind him in the 0. Zach Clater trying to work his way back into that battle for the top 5 here in heat race number 2. And as they continue to battle back there behind him, for Jordan Fisher and Evan Stewart, they've just been slowly but surely pulling away from the rest of the field here. And for Fisher, obviously still got the race lead. He's got almost a second between himself and Evan Stewart. Stewart, a part of that Fish Speed team here this season. And the 37 rolling there in second. We'll see if he can try to jump up here and maybe make some moves, maybe duke it out with Jordan Fisher a little bit here in this second heat race. Austin Guerrero's back there in 3rd. Unfortunately, he's lost already about 3.6 seconds to our race leader, but it's about 2.7 seconds to our second place driver. So there is a pretty decent gap between 3rd, 2nd, and 1st here, and obviously things kind of opened up a little bit more except for this battle back here. That 4th, 6th position still very much on the line, and you do see Zach Perry able to work his way around Michael Potter Jr. Now Potter's going to get up and in to that outside fence again. That's about the 3rd, 4th time we've seen this 13 get a good solid chunk of the outside wall, and now here comes that 0 trying to work his way right into the battle, takes a peek down to the inside, thinks twice of it, stays in the middle, but for that 13 machine, that damage is really going to start to hurt his chances here this evening. As Kevin Timmy says, damn, I miss most of the live. Well, brother, this is only the first heat or second heat race. This is our clash here with the Wheel-to-Wheel Racing League. So this is our second of 3 heat races, and then we got a 100-lap feature event after this. So we still have, I guess now just clicking off our 16th lap of this heat race. We got 14 laps left here in heat race number 2. We got 30 laps for heat race number 3 and 100 laps for our A main feature event here this evening in the Wheel-to-Wheel Racing League's clash at Dover. As you do see, Michael Ponder Jr. unfortunately fall back into that 6th position as Zach Clater in the zero ride jumps around him inside the top 5 now out on the racetrack, but out in front in that Fish Speed machine. Jordan Fisher continue to hold down the top spot. He's out in front and looking to continue to just pull farther and farther away from everybody else, wanting and hoping to try to keep all these drivers back there behind him here throughout the rest of this heat races. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you guys are just tuning in and you haven't already, make sure you guys do us a quick favor, man. Hit the like on the stream for us. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Be like our boy Bubba. He's got that green highlighted comment section there. He's got the amazing badge, the Peacemaker badge, as well as one of our YouTube members here as well. That is our, paid subscription. It costs less than a Big Mac. It costs less than what are the little burgers there at McDonald's? A McDouble. It costs about a little less than a McDouble, or at least here in Canada, it costs less than a McDouble. It's super cheap, but it helps us out a ton. The more and more people we can get to join our Peacemaker, membership club, then it continues to grow and continues to help us out here. As Kevin says, watching the Super Bowl. Sorry, Peace. Priorities. He says priorities. Listen, brother. Hey, I feel you. I feel you, my boy. If it was my Eagles in there playing, trust me, we would have been moving this race. That is for certain. Or I would have it up on the screen right now as well. I watched the first little bit of it. I probably wasn't going to, man. I know it's your team, but man, it just felt like it was like a preseason game loading into this one, man. It just never really, it hasn't hit me. Even now that, it's the Super Bowl, it just, I don't know. It's just two teams that just, I don't know. It just doesn't feel like the Super Bowl. I don't know if you know what I mean, but like for obviously a Seattle fan, you wanna feel it, man. You wanna be there, man. Hey, listen, I'm an Eagles fan. We got blessed last season. Hopefully we'll be back there again in next year or next couple years, hopefully, and a couple more shots at a couple more trophies, a couple more rings, and maybe we'll get there. Maybe we'll get there. Who knows? But for Seattle, definitely looked really, really good, man. And I know up until I think about 2 or 3 minutes left there in the second quarter, it was 6-0. I'm pretty sure the Patriots were kind of pushed back into their zone. I don't know if they ended up pushing it further forward, if they got any, last minute or last second points there, or if Seattle got the ball back and if they got any points to, end off the first half of the football game. But man, I'm sure it's going to be exciting. I mean, now it's time for the halftime show. So if you guys are tuning in and not watching the halftime show, welcome in. We speak English here. As Jordan Fisher out in front, he's looking to try to click off lap number 25. So 5 more laps left to go here in heat race number 2. As Mr. Timmy says, go Hawks, go Hawks. I'll cheer on the Hawks, man. Sam Darnold, had a great season last year. I can't believe Minnesota let him walk to bring J.J. McCarthy out there onto the field. They should have paid him. They should have gave him the 32 or 33 million that the Seahawks gave him. Would have been no harm, no foul right there. If he was wanting 50 million, then I can see letting him go for cap reasons. But honestly, 33 million for what Sam Darnold produced last year or for what he produced this year, you got to feel for the Minnesota Vikings fans, man, to let that walk away. That should have been an easy signing for them. But obviously, man, he's been rolling. Another great season. Obviously, last year's playoffs did not pan out for him or the Vikings, but here this year, he's shown that he can get it done and has a good opportunity here to potentially win the Super Bowl here in 2026. As right now, trying to win the Clash at Dover. Obviously, this is our second heat race of the day, and for Jordan Fisher, he's already seen one Fish Speed ride pick up the win in heat race number 1. He wants to win heat race number 2 with only 2 laps left to go for the 39 ride. He is on cruise control. 3 seconds between himself and Evan Stewart, and another 8 seconds back to our third-place driver, Austin Guerrero. As nice and easy down and out of corner number 4, the Fish Speed machine will see that white flag fly. So the last time here for the 39 ride around the racetrack until he claims heat race number 2 out there on the Speedway. As Kevin says, right, our game. Thank you, Vikings. Yeah, thank you, Vikings. 100% thank you to the Vikings. As here we go, down and out of 4, it's Jordan Fisher who picks up heat race number 2 here this evening. Fisher picks up the second heat race win with Evan Stewart back there in second. Austin Guerrero will round out our top 3 with Zach Clater, Zach Perry, and Michael Ponder Jr. rounding out our top 6. Grant Applegate will come home in 7th as, 3-second lead. That's not even that big. We saw some issues at the start of heat race number 1 in our first heat race winner of the day. I think it was just over 5 seconds or right around a 5-second heat race win in that first heat race of the evening. So there has been some pretty big gaps here early on. A lot of open racetrack, not a whole lot of, door-to-door action with the smaller heat race counts, and it's really opened up the track for some of these guys to kind of pull out and pull away as we'll get them all stacked up, racked up, and ready to rumble here for heat race number 3. Heat race number 3 about to get loaded in. We're waiting for our front row to load in here. Here we go. Here comes the Flex Seal number 17, Jason Bogart. So Bogart's out there on the track. We're waiting for the 48 of Cameron Craighead. There he is. There he is. He's in the Hey Dudes machine. The number 48 of Cameron Craighead will start in the pole position. To his outside in that 17 will be Jason Bogart. Starting in position number 3 in the Buckies. And number 99, that is Logan Perriman. To his outside in the 74 in the AG Designs wheel-to-wheel racing number 74 machine, that is Jaden Porter. Starting in position number 5 in the number 60, that is the Kronker machine. That's Mr. Ryan Haller, who will start in position number 5 here in heat race number 3. To his outside in the Monster Energy number 8, that is Trent Johns, and to his, to the back of the pack here, starting in 7th in the 38 ride, that is Keegan Huey in the Mazda machine. They're in position number 7. Now, all 7 of these drivers will advance. They will all go to our A-Main feature event. Everyone, though, going to be battling for what will virtually be starting positions. You win heat race number 3, you will start our feature event in that 3rd position. You finish 2nd here in this heat race, you'll start back in position number 6. You finish position number 3 in the heat race, you'll start back in the 9th position. Any further back than the top 3, you'll be starting on the outside of the top 10. As here we go, and already we see Cameron Craighead down through 1 and 2, pushed up the racetrack there. Had a good launch, good start. Unfortunately for the Hey Dude ride, went up the racetrack, and unfortunately for the Shady Race machine, ended up losing a pair of positions as Logan Perriman and Jason Bogart able to get around him, but now look out, here we go. Perriman's up into the fence. Bogart's around. He's up into the outside wall. Big hit here for both of them. Brother, that was some big hits here on the racetrack. Both drivers getting tied together here. Let's see if we can get another angle at it. Bogart's rolling the outside. The 99's in the middle, and it looks like they head down across the line. Bogart leads lap number 1. And it looks like Perriman may be coming up, trying to side draft a little bit here with that 17. For Bogart, he's got nowhere else to go. And unfortunately, they both just come together, and it hooks them together, and all of a sudden, as 17's trying to correct, he ends up shooting up the racetrack, then the net code pushes the 99 kind of sideways here down into corner number 1 for Bogart. Heavy hit on the front end there into the outside fence for the 99 ride. Solid contact there into that whole right-hand side, the rear of the 99 machine, but for all two of those drivers, man, they go from battling for the race lead to now all of a sudden sitting at the back of the pack, and with their damaged race cars, no caution flags here in these heat races. That's going to set them back here on the field as Cameron Craighead now has the race lead. So for Craighead, made the mistake down to 1 and 2 as look out Keegan Huey. Keegan's around. Look out Perriman's trying to squeeze through. 38 still sliding, still pointing the wrong direction. He'll have to get pointed back in the right way as here comes Jason Bogart. They'll say thank you very much, Mr. Huey, as they'll work themselves back in front of that 38 ride. And unfortunately, he'll slide a little farther back. But for Cameron Craighead, made that mistake on the opening lap down through 1 and 2. Probably thought he lost this heat race because of that mistake. Then all of a sudden, he gains it back as they get tied together, back down into corner number 1. And for the 48, reconsumes that race lead. Has the top spot, but it is that Kroger, number 60 of Ryan Haller in tow, trying to reel him in as Jaden Porter back there in third. Trent Johns in position number 4. And then it's a big gap back to our 5th place driver, Logan Perriman, as he's back about 3.5 seconds behind our top 4. And even farther back, almost another 8 seconds back, you do see Jason Bogart. And about another 8 seconds back, you see that Mazda number 38 of Keegan Huey. Huey's actually potentially at risk of going a lap down, as for the 38, he's only has about a straightaway between himself and our race leader, Cameron Craighead. As Cameron trying to keep this thing pointing the right direction, trying to keep this one rolling here as Bogart got screwed. 99 should be booted. I mean, they're not going to get booted. They're not going to get booted. It's going to be racing no matter what, brother. It's part of it. Tough racing, good battling. It is what it is. First race of the season and an on-points race. No one's going to get booted. Even if it wasn't a points race, he's still not going to get booted. He can get penalized. That's about it. But he's not going to get booted. As Mrs. Holler says, come on, Holler. Cheering on Ryan out there on the racetrack. Trying to have him kind of work his way up there. Trying to put himself into position to duke it out, to battle here this evening for what could be a big race win here in this one. As Night Pain says, Ponder, let's go. Cheering on Michael Ponder Jr. Ponder was in our first heat race of the day, so we'll see him back out there for this main feature event. It will be a little bit. Unfortunately, he won't be out for at least another 20 laps or so, plus our warm-up session, but he'll be back out there. He'll be looking to try to put himself into a good position. He battled hard in that first heat race. Unfortunately, got up into the outside fence a couple times, kind of knocked that right front out of whack. Unfortunately, fell back a couple positions, but looked to have some pretty good speed out of that car. So we'll have to wait and see what Mr. Ponder Jr. has up his sleeve for us here this evening. But for right now, it's the Hey Dude, Shady Rays number 48 of Cameron Craighead, who's got this race lead. 18 laps left to go here in heat race number 3, our final heat race of the evening, as Haller sits back in position number 2. Jaden Porter's back in third now. He does have Trent Johns right there on him, so a couple slip-ups, a little bit of a mistake, that loss of momentum for the 74 of Jaden Porter could go from basically starting our A-main feature event in what would be the top 10 to starting back in about the 12th position. If he loses this spot to Trent Johns, as the 74 kind of comes down right there, a little bit of an arrow block onto that number 8 right. Unfortunately for Trent Johns, had to kind of roll the throttle, making sure that he didn't clip or turn that 74 right, and as he loses that, a little bit of speed, that little bit of momentum, slides back a couple car lengths, so he'll have to try to reel him back in, try to size him up again, see if he can find a different lane to maybe try to make this pass. and steal that third spot away here in heat race number 3. For Crankhead, though, he continues to pull farther and farther away from Ryan Haller, as the gap is now about 1.6 seconds out there on the speedway. So 1.6 seconds between first and second. It's about the same gap now to our third place driver, Jaden Porter. Logan Perriman, unfortunately, with that damage, continues to fall farther and farther away from the rest of our top 4. Unfortunately, is not reeling them in. Same with that 17 of Jason Bogart, who still sits back in that 6th position. Keegan Huey there in 7th. Now for Huey, he has been kind of reeling in the 17 of Bogart. Now it looks like Huey has a whole lot less damage than that number 17 Ryan, but for Keegan Huey, he's going to be at risk of potentially losing a lap right here in a quick hurry, as our race leader is reeled up to him here. That beautiful 48 ride has closed in a lot here on the 38, and for Cameron Crankhead, it just seems like he's found a different gear here as this heat races kind of went on, as things have kind of rolled out. He just continues to find more and more speed. This may be that bit of practice, or maybe just the setup kind of working for him now, is maybe he wanted to try to take it a little bit easier. Maybe this is going to be more of a long run race car compared to a short run race car, where, you know, early on it didn't seem like it was really going to work out for him, but now he just continued to pull farther and farther away, and tire wear is going to start to become a play here in this heat race, because if Cameron's really on the throttle, if he's really pushing it hard here, obviously he could burn up those tires, and it could allow drivers like Ryan Haller, Jaden Porter, Trent Johnson start to reel him back in, or potentially they were already going as hard as they could. For Cameron Crankhead, maybe just being a little bit more consistent, and now starting to just slowly but surely pull away from him. But he does have lap traffic here just in front of him, so this could play a factor in it as well. Will they potentially hold him up? Now, there's no caution flags here in these heat races, so for a couple of these drivers, obviously trying to win the heat race is a must, but you don't want to put yourself into a position where you get tangled up with lap traffic, potentially not even take yourself out of the heat race win, but could potentially put yourself in behind, you know, a bunch of drivers out there on the racetrack if you end up going around or having heavy damage or anything else. As now you do see the lap traffic there door to door just in front of them, as it looks like Keegan Huey is going to make the pass, work his way back around the limping 17 of Jason Bogart there. Bogart, unfortunately, will fall back into that 7th position. Will lose a lap now to our race leader. And for Keegan Huey, he's very close to potentially losing a lap here himself. But the laps, they continue to click down. But now we start to see that lap traffic has been playing a bit of a role for Ryan Haller. He has gained back about 3/4 of a second here on Cameron Crankhead. So he is slowly but surely reeling in our race leader. You got to wonder, maybe it's the tires, maybe it's the lap traffic. We'll have to wait and see, you know, what the 48 Ryan's able to do, and if Haller even has enough time. If he can still keep on reeling him in, he may not have enough time to make a pass and get around him here, as across the line. Only 7 laps left to go in our final heat race of the evening. And for Cameron Crankhead, he sits out in front. There's Haller in that 2nd position. Jaden Porter a little farther back here. Now he is about 4.5 seconds behind our race leader here, about 2.5 seconds or so behind Ryan Haller. But for Jaden Porter, still doing a great job hanging on to that 3rd position. Trent Johns, unfortunately, still stuck back there in that 4th spot. We'll have to wait and see if he can make a late rate charge and steal that 3rd spot away from Mr. Porter here this evening. For that Toyota Bucky's 99 rider, Logan Perriman rounds out our top 5. He's got almost 14 seconds between himself and that 38 of Keegan Huey, as Keegan does lose a lap here. So that's going to make Cameron Crankhead feel a little bit better, as he does at least once again put another car between himself and our 2nd place driver. For Ryan Haller, he was able to finally work his way around that 17 of Jason Bogart. Unfortunately, though, in doing so, he kind of fell back again here. He's back again to about that 2.5 seconds behind the 48 Ryan, and now with only 4 laps left to go, I think it's going to be pretty much mission impossible here for Haller to catch back up to our race leader. So he may just get settled in here for a solid second place finish in heat race number 1. But for the 48 of Cameron Crankhead, nice and easy, man. That Shady Race, Hey Dude ride out in front. Going to click off another lap. He will see 3 more to go, that time by the start-finish line. So now, just on cruise control here, a few more laps left here in our final heat race of the day. And then we jump into a quick warm-up session where these drivers will get an opportunity to kind of work on their race cars, make sure they're, feeling A-okay, making sure that they're running good, and making sure that if there's any changes they need to make, then that they will have time to make those changes, get these cars rolling in a little bit better if they're on the speedway. Maybe it's a little too loose. Maybe they're going to need a little extra, gearing. Who knows what it could be, but they're definitely going to want to figure it out here throughout that warm-up and make sure that they are good to go here for this A main feature event. As for Cameron Crankhead, he does see that white flag fly. It is now about 3.1 seconds between himself and Ryan Haller, as Haller is sitting there nicely in that third position. Only way he wins this heat race is if something goes wrong for the 48, down through 3 and out of 4, but it looks like he's going to get through there nice and smooth and hits his groove and down across the line. It's Cameron Crankhead who picks up heat race win number 3 here this evening. Ryan Haller will come home in second with Jaden Porter back in third. He was able to hold off Trent Johns as he'll come home in fourth with Logan Perriman, our top 5. Keegan Huey and Jason Bogart will round out that heat race, as that is going to do it for the heat race action here this evening. Now it's going to be an opportunity for these drivers to slide out onto the racetrack to, make sure that they make those changes, get their cars rolling nicely. If they were in heat race number 1, it's been a little while since they were out there on the speedway, so trying to get back out there, run a few laps, kind of knock maybe a little bit of that rust off, and maybe you saw something, maybe you saw a different line that these guys were running there in heat race number 2 or heat race number 3 that you may want to try. So this is the time to kind of slide out there, try some different things, make some changes onto the race car and make sure that it is, going to help you or hurt you here throughout this A main feature event. So we'll get a little bit of time here to go to battle to get things worked out and get ready to rumble here for this A main in just a few more moments, as the 18 of Virgil Perriman, Landon Burbage in the number 2. These were 2 drivers that were in our first heat race of the day. They're quickly jumping out there, getting that extra little bit of practice, and same with this 61 rider, Lucien Thomas Parmenter. Parmenter also making sure he gets that extra little work done here, making sure that he gets some practice, knock some of that rust off, and sliding back out onto the racetrack here. So we'll have to wait and see, who else may join him, as here comes Marquin Brewer, here comes that 51 of Wyatt Mickelson. So we get a few more drivers sliding out there onto the racetrack. A lot of these guys are going to want that time to kind of figure things out here. Some may take a little bit more of a back seat, as they may not want to get more laps under their belt. They may want to try to keep themselves fresh for that A main feature event and not put themselves through a little bit of a test here in this warm-up session. But for each and one of these drivers, golden opportunities for them. You see Burbage, he ran about 2 laps or so there throughout that run. Looks like he's gonna head back down pit side, make some more changes, and get ready to try to fix that car up, do a little something different, and get back out there onto the racetrack. We do see Jackson Branscombe, we do see Austin Guerrero's out there in that National Guard's 88 ride. Marquin Brewer, Zach Clater's out there now as well. So a lot of these cats starting to jump out and take advantage of this warm-up session, as here comes Burbage. So yeah, Burbage definitely, took a shot right there, made sure that that car was good, made some changes, came back down pit road, made a little bit more changes. Let's see if that may help him out, see if he can find a little bit more speed out of this 2 riders. We'll get them all locked and loaded, ready to rumble, ready to go. Green flag racing in just a few more moments, and hopefully guys don't go anywhere, man. And if you haven't already, hit the like button on the stream for us, jump into the comments section, let us know who you're cheering for, and make sure you hit that subscribe button, become part of the Peacemaker family here today. day, as each and every one of these drivers are going to get ready to play here in our A-Main feature event in just a couple more moments. We'll be right back. We're going to get a quick drink into us. Don't you guys go anywhere, as the racing action is about to get fired back up in just a couple more minutes.
Burning rubber, tires screaming, engines go berserk. Pit stop precision like surgeons at work. Wheel to wheel, hands on the grip, no chill. Broadcast live, pacemaker keeping it real. Speed demons on the track, hearts racing with the sound. Slide tight in the curves, sparks flying off the ground. Victory's a beast, it don't come easy. Wheel to wheel racing, the ground stay greasy. 360 on the asphalt, danger a flirt. Every lap closer, the tires eating dirt. Peacemaker's lens, the hype ignites. Streaming the chaos under neon lights. Draft game strong, slingshot out the lane. Calculated risk deep in the veins. Checker flags wave dreams on the brink. Fast decisions where you barely get to blink. Speed demons on the track, hearts racing with the sound. Slide tight in the curves, sparks flying off the ground. Victory's a beast, it don't come easy. Wheel to wheel racing, the ground stay greasy. On the asphalt, danger a flirt. Every lap closer, the tires eating dirt. Peacemaker's lens, the hype ignites. Streaming the chaos under neon lights. Draft game strong, slingshot out the lane. Calculated risk deep in the veins. Checker flags wave dreams on the brink. Fast decisions where you barely get to blink. Yeah. From amateurs to legends, it's all the same heat. One wrong move might sweep defeat. High octane stakes climb mile by mile. Peacemakers mic hot, adding flames to the style. Speed demons on the track, hearts racing with the sound. Slide tight in the curves, sparks flying off the ground. Victory's a beast, it don't come easy. Wheel to wheel racing, the grind stay greasy. Greasy, the grind stay greasy. 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 Burning rubber, tires screaming, engines go berserk. Pit stop precision like surgeons at work. Wheel to wheel, hands on the grip, no chill. Broadcast live, peacemaker keeping it real. Speed demons on the track, hearts racing with the sound. Slide tight in the curves, sparks flying off the ground. Victory's a beast, it don't come easy. Wheel to wheel racing, the grind stay greasy. 360 on the asphalt, danger a flirt. Every lap closer, the tires eating dirt. Peacemaker's lens, the hype ignites. Streaming the chaos under neon lights. Draft game strong, slingshot out the lane. Calculated risk deep in the veins. Checker flags wave dreams on the brink. Fast decisions where you barely get to blink. Speed demons on the track, hearts racing with the sound. Slide tight in the curves, sparks flying off the ground. Victory's a beast, it don't come easy. Wheel to wheel racing, the grind stay greasy. On the asphalt, danger a flirt. Every lap closer, the tires eating dirt. Peacemaker's lens, the hype ignites. Streaming the chaos under neon lights. Draft game strong, slingshot out the lane. Calculated risk deep in the veins. Checker flags wave dreams on the brink. Fast decisions where you barely get to blink. Yeah. From amateurs to legends, it's all the same heat. One wrong move might sweep defeat. High octane stakes climb mile by mile. Peacemakers mic hot, adding flames to the style. Speed demons on the track, hearts racing with the sound. Slide tight in the curves, sparks flying off the ground. Victory's a beast, it don't come easy. Wheel to wheel racing, the grind stay greasy. Greasy, the grind stay greasy. 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 burning rubber, tires screaming, engines go berserk. Pit stop precision like surgeons at work. Wheel to wheel, hands on the grip, no chill. Broadcast live, peacemaker keeping it real. Speed demons on the track, hearts racing with the sound. Slide tight in the curves, sparks flying off the ground. Victory's a beast, it don't come easy. Wheel to wheel racing, the grind stay greasy. 360 on the asphalt, danger a flirt. Every lap closer, the tires eating dirt. Peacemaker's lens, the hype ignites. Streaming the chaos under neon lights. Draft game strong, slingshot out the lane. Calculated risk deep in the veins. Checker flags wave dreams on the brink. Fast decisions where you barely get to blink. Speed demons on the track, hearts racing with the sound. Slide tight in the curves, sparks flying off the ground. Victory's a beast, it don't come easy. Wheel to wheel racing, the grind stay greasy. On the asphalt, danger a flirt. Every lap closer, the tires eating dirt. Peacemaker's lens, the hype ignites. Streaming the chaos under neon lights. Draft game strong, slingshot out the lane. Calculated risk deep in the veins. Checker flags wave dreams on the brink. Fast decisions where you barely get to blink. Yeah. From amateurs to legends, it's all the same heat. One wrong move might sweep defeat. High octane stakes climb mile by mile. Peacemakers mic hot, adding flames to the style. Speed demons on the track, hearts racing with the sound. Slide tight in the curves, sparks flying off the ground. Victory's a beast, it don't come easy. Wheel to wheel racing, the grind stay greasy. Greasy, the grind stay greasy. The grind stay greasy. The grind stay greasy. The grind stay greasy. The grind stay greasy.
Alrighty, as we'll get ready to rumble here, just a few more moments away from the start of our A-Main feature event, our first race back here on the season 2 of the Wheel-to-Wheel Racing League here this evening, as this is our first non-points race here to start this season. So we are in action here tonight for our clash at Dover. Obviously this kind of gets the season rolling, gets things kicked off. Next Sunday night we'll be back in action for what will be our Gatorade duels, our duels at Daytona here with the Wheel-to-Wheel Racing League, where these drivers, they will jump out on the speedway, they will jump out onto the racetrack, and they will have an opportunity here to kind of, get rolling, get their toes a little bit wet, and obviously, put themselves into a good position to try to, pick up a good starting spot for our, what would be Daytona 500 a couple weeks from now. So we're a couple weeks away from our season opener nonetheless for the points, but for a couple of these, non-point races, a couple, obviously this one's more of a fun run. The next one obviously is going to be a little bit more on the line with starting position, but really when it comes to, Daytona International Speedway, starting spot doesn't really necessarily make a huge difference. Some drivers may want to start at the back of the pack. Other drivers may want to start towards the front. It may be up to your prerogative. So next Sunday may be a little bit of an easy breezy day as well. And, wherever you do finish in that race, whether it's at the front or at the back, it may decide your strategy when it comes to our first points race in 2 weeks' time. So get a couple kind of fun runs, couple, no big stress, no points on the line races here, for this week and next week. But here tonight, these drivers, man, they still want to win. They still want to get that pride and get the season kicked off on the right foot. And for a couple of these cats, man, they're ready to rumble here in this one, as Joseph Smith and Jordan Fisher, 1 and 2 on the front row, with Cameron Craighead, Virgil Perriman, Evan Stewart, Ryan Holler, Landon Burbage, Austin Guerrero, Jackson Branscombe, and Jaden Porter rounding out our top 10. As here we go, Green flag is into the air for the 31 of Joseph Smith. Smith gets a great launch, great start right there, and now he'll battle door to door with his Fish Speed teammate here as the 31 and 39 side by side, but it looks like that outside lane may prevail as the 39 of Fisher will clear him and jump out in front. So for Jordan Fisher, he jumps into the race lead. The 48 of Cameron Crankhead jumps up into position number 2 here. So Crankhead showing his speed here this afternoon, ran really good in heat race number 3. And for our 3 heat race winners, they say 1, 2, and 3 out there on the racetrack. Evan Stewart jumps up into 4th. Virgil Pearman slides back to 5th, and now he's trying to hold on and hold off. Landon Burbage is back there in that 6th position. We do see Ryan Haller there in 7th with Austin Guerrero back in 8th. Zach Clater in position number 9. Jaden Porter rounding out our top 10. Zach Perry there in 11th with Trent Johns in position number 12, as we do see Michael Ponder Jr. running into some issues here. Heavy right front damage here on the 13 ride, and for Michael Ponder Jr., not the way he wanted things to get started here this evening. Let's take a look back, see what happens here. It's Wyatt Mickelson. Mickelson gets up and into the fence on corner exit. We'll see these drivers probably do that a ton here this evening. Dover tends to do this, kind of slide up the track on corner exit, trying to carry all that speed momentum. Unfortunately, as you get into the wall, it kills your momentum. The car behind you a lot of times just ends up nowhere to go. Not enough time to react there. Couldn't get checked up to avoid that 51 ride. Ponder drives into the back end of him pretty solid. Right side damage for the 51, really heavy right front damage here for that 13 of Michael Ponder as well, and he ends up going sideways, and almost it looks like he is going to come virtually to a stop here in corner number 1. No caution flag was thrown though. We keep it clean and green. We keep on battling. That's great news for a few of these other drivers. They're able to click off some more of these laps, but for Michael Ponder Jr., he's going to be really, really close to potentially going a lap down here. Now, he won't be the first driver a lap down, as we did see Wyatt Mickelson. The heavy damage that the 51 right had received there after getting into the wall and then getting the contact there with that 13 ride. Obviously, this car fairly tore up. He's going to take it down pit side, and it looks like it may be an early day here in Dover for Wyatt Mickelson. As Dover International Speedway, man, always such an amazing racetrack, always so much fun and so much great racing here at this racetrack, and we're in to see some more here this evening. And now we do see Jordan Fisher kind of picking right up where he left off in that second heat race of the evening, and that is just pulling away from the rest of the field here. He's now opened up early on. We're only 8 laps in to this 100-lap feature event. He finds himself now already 1.6 seconds in front of Cameron Crankhead and the rest of the field, but we do see our first caution flag being thrown, so the first yellow flag is going to be displayed. Looks like the 8 ride of Trent John's going to run into some issues. That will put us under our first yellow here this evening. Let's take a look as Johns get up into the fence, or a little bit of contact right here. Potentially contact between him and the 14. A Brewer right there. Unfortunately, they do get together not once, but twice. Finally, the 8 ride sideways on the racetrack. Driver still coming right at him. They throw that caution flag, and Ryan Racing, obviously, they get a great look at that because it happens right in front of our flag man here. But let's take another look back at that contact, because obviously the 8 rolling a little bit more of that middle outside lane. Looks like maybe just trying to keep himself out of the wall on corner exit. The 14 looking to carry that speed momentum, just gets a little too much of it. Drives up into that left rear of the 8 ride. Then John's trying to catch it, trying to save it. Unfortunately, kind of washes back down the racetrack. That tends to happen here on these straightaways, as these straightaways are known to be kind of self-cleaning. A lot of things in and on the straightaways will wash down into that inside wall. And then obviously on corners, man, you're carrying so much speed that for Marquin Brewer here, not only that heavy contact after, running back into the 8 ride right here, they get tied together right there. Heavy right side damage, then left side damage as he gets hard contact into that inside fence right there. A lot of damage for the 14, and that just gets worse because he's still carrying a ton of speed and momentum down into corner number 1. Car won't turn it, unfortunately, launches back up into the outside fence and gives it even more damage here. So all around this car, unfortunately, tore up here this evening. And unfortunately, he's going to take it down pit side. Look to get a lot of work done to it. Hopefully try to jump back out onto the racetrack and still stay in this race. We'll have to wait and see how long he's down pit side. But we do see our top 13 stay out here. So our top 13 drivers, they stay out. They don't come down pit side. But we do see Grant Applegate. He makes his way down pit road. Jackson Branscombe also down pit side. Zach Clater, Trent Johns, obviously trying to get repairs done. He's down there. Same with Michael Ponder Jr. Lucien Thomas Parmenter also down pit side in that 61. Then you do see Marquand Brewer and Wyatt Mickelson still down there as well. Now we do see, Clater, Branscombe, Trent Johns, Michael Ponder, they're all able to leave pit side. Here comes Lucien Thomas Parmenter as well, back out onto the racetrack for Marquand Brewer. Unfortunately, looks like he may be down there for a little bit longer here this evening, and unfortunately he will lose a lap right there for Wyatt Mickelson. He's also not rolling back out. He ran about 5 laps there with that damage. Unfortunately, has not went any farther. It looks like that car has been pretty much repaired. You might be able to see him jump back out there, but we'll have to wait and see how long he decides to sit down. Every lap that he sits down pit side is just more and more time that it's going to take away from him potentially trying to get back into the action. Now for the 61, we saw him during that caution flag as the 14 and the 8 ride were around. Let's take a look back at it. You're going to watch the 61 ride. He's going to get a great look at it. He sees it happening, sees that contact, and finally sees the 8 ride turn around. He's got to go the outside right there. Drives hard up the racetrack to avoid the 8. Gets hard contact into the outside fence himself. And that's why we see him heading down pit side. Getting quite a bit of extensive repairs done to that 61 machine. But he's got to be careful because he's still down pit road. And here comes our race leaders down through that Echo Park restart zone. Here we go back to battle here in Dover as the 39 of Jordan Fisher gets a great launch, a great restart. But man, this 48 ride, he looks really good on the restarts, but there's contact now between Fisher and Crankhead. Crankhead's looking for the race lead. Fisher's trying to hold him off. He's slipping, sliding out there on the racetrack, washes up the speedway. A couple of Fish speed rides take the outside fence, and now here comes Joseph Smith. He'll look to the inside of Cameron Crankhead as he had virtually nowhere to go right there. Had to roll out of the throttle to avoid running in and through that 39 ride. Could have definitely potentially taken out some of the traffic and some of the competition here this evening if he would have stayed on the throttle down and out of corner number 4. But now look out, Austin Guerrero. Oh, Austin loses it down and out of corner number 4. And unfortunately washes down the racetrack. Let's take another look at it. Just getting back on the throttle a little too soon. Gets into a bit of a wheel hop. Loses that rear end. And the self-cleaning racetrack down the straightaways. Pushes down into that inside fence. Pretty solid left side damage here on that 88 ride. So tough break there for the National Guard machine as he'll fall all the way back into 18th as we do see Lucien Thomas Parmenter still down pit side. Wyatt Mickelson has rejoined this race. He's rolling back out there now on the speedway. Scored back in 20th now as Marquand Brewer down pit side still scored in 21st. So, for Jordan Fisher, he's still out in front. We'll have to wait and see if he can try to build up that race lead like he had prior to that first caution flag of the day, as the 39 had pulled out in far enough away that really he didn't have too much pressure to his back bumper until we saw that caution flag be displayed there around lap number 10. And now that we're 14 laps into this race, he's again trying to just pull farther and farther away, trying to open up that race lead here. He's once again built it up to about 0.6 of a second here, just a few laps after the restart. And for the 39, he's shown that he's got a lot of speed. The car runs really, really good, but is it built more for short run or for long run? That is going to be the big question here later in this race, especially when it comes to, only having 100 laps in this A-main feature event. And here at a short track, they click the laps off here pretty quickly, about 23 seconds for a lap out there on the racetrack. So running, 23, 22 seconds out there, and man, the 48 again. This is the second time in a row. We were going to talk about how he got into the wall right there. That's killing a lot of his speed, but it's also killing the speed for the guys behind him, because Joseph Smith, Landon Burbage, Evan Stewart, they're right there with him. They see the contact. They see him getting into that outside wall, and they're expecting to see him go around or slide around or lose all that speed momentum and get parked onto their nose cone. And luckily enough, so far that has not happened. But man, that car virtually left the entire racing surface the last time he got into the wall. Really just kind of jumped up right there. Luckily enough, doesn't look like too much damage dealt to that 48 ride. It could have been a whole lot worse, and he's got to be careful, because one of these times he may get into it the wrong way, and that could be the end of his day out there on the racetrack. So he's got to be very, very careful with getting into that outside fence. And I think as he starts to tone back the pace to avoid running into that outside wall, it starts to allow Jordan Fisher to pull far and farther away here, as he's once again back out to about that 1.6 second lead here after, another 6-7 lap run. He's once again pulling away from this second group. And for the 48 ride of Cameron Crankhead, you just got to hope that maybe your car sticks together, maybe your car continues to keep on rolling, and hoping that, you can kind of, make sure that you don't run into too many issues. And, oh man, he does it again. Oh, you got to be careful with that. We've even seen the 31 ride of Joseph Smith do it as well. You got to be careful. You cannot get into that outside fence. As Mrs. Holler says, this is better than the Super Bowl. It's boring, she says. It's boring. I think we all kind of figured it was going to be boring. The Super Bowl just kind of, I don't know, man. Seattle, they're really good defensively. No takeaways from their offense, but, if it's not Kenneth Walker, they don't, they got some good firepower, but just not the most consistent firepower there in Seattle. And kind of same goes for New England as well, man. Unless if Drake May's really on it, he's not really throwing that ball too much. He's either running out of the pocket and trying to run himself, or he's handing it off to Stevenson. And unfortunately, the run game's kind of just where it is. As Soller says, hang tough, Ryan, hang tough. As here we go. We look for a battle for position number 2. It's a Fish Speed ride. They're going to beat and bang down the back straightaway, as Joseph Smith wants position number 2. Cameron Crankhead wants to hang on to it, but unfortunately looks like he will slide back into position number 3. Now here comes Landon Burbage right there ready to strike, as well as Evan Stewart rounds out our top 5. Just a couple car lengths back there behind him. Virgil Perriman in that 6th position with Zach Perry back in 7th. Ryan Haller sits in 8th with Keegan Huey, and Logan Perriman rounding out our top 10. Jackson Branscombe scored there in 11th with Grant Applegate, Jaden Porter, Jason Bogart, and Zach Clater, our top 15 out there on the racetrack. And man, it is a dogfight back here behind him, as you do see Trent Johns there, Michael Ponder Jr., Austin Guerrero there in 18th. Wyatt Mickelson, who unfortunately ran into issues early in this race, had come down pit side, has lost about 5 laps or so out there on the racetrack, sits back in 19th right now on the speedway. Lucen Thompson Parmenter rolling back out onto the racetrack right here. The 61 ride scored back in the 20th position. Unfortunately finds himself now about 15 laps down, but is going to rejoin this race back in that 20th spot on the racetrack. For Marquin Brewer, still down pit side, still right now out of this race, has not rolled back out there. And for our race leader, Jordan Fisher, he just continues to pull farther and farther away, man. This 39 ride, he is having a solid day, man. He's run away with this one now that we just rolled over the 1/4 marker here in this feature event. He's got 3 0.3 seconds between himself and his teammate Joseph Smith, as Smith in that fish speed ride back there in position number 2. Crankan kind of holding up Landon Burbage, but Burbage trying to jump up into third here. He's just able to clear Cameron Crankan for that third position. And now we do see the 37 to Evan Stewart. Evan's going to work around him here as quickly as possible as well. And unfortunately for the 48, maybe just that contact into the outside fence a couple times, maybe kind of starting to affect the handling of that race car. Now he sends it in deep down low under the 37 of Evan Stewart. Evan's going to stay to his outside, though. They're going to hang hard together down the back straightaway. Stewart had taken the spot, but the 48 wants to take it back from him. Evan's going to have to try to size him up, try to make another pass here. Seems like this 48, Ryan, it's going to be a driver that's going to be tough to pass here all season long, as right now he's hanging tough. He's really putting up a fight. Not only did he beat and bang and battle with Joseph Smith, he did the same thing to Landon Burbage, and now battling hard here with Evan Stewart for position number 4 out there on the racetrack. And unfortunately, all that's doing is just killing their speed, their momentum, and it's allowing Jordan Fisher to pull farther and farther out in front. As here we go again, Evan Stewart looks to the inside. 48 kind of pinches him down there, doesn't leave a whole lot of room, and for Evan Stewart has to kind of roll out of the throttle, fall back in behind him. We'll have to try to size him up, line him up, and try to get another run at him to try and steal that 4th spot away. And as they continue to just kind of lose time here to that to Landon Burbage, you're starting to see drivers like Virgil Perriman, Zach Perry, Ryan Haller starting to reel these guys in. They would love to jump into that fight for 4th and 5th and try to work their way inside the top 5. And as they continue to kind of slide back, it's starting to bring that more and more into the question, as there is no question about who's the car to beat here this evening. Jordan Fisher out in front has drove out to almost a 4-second gap now between himself and second. There's the gap down the back straightaway, almost the entire backstretch between Jordan Fisher and Joseph Smith now out there on the speedway. Joseph does have about 1.4 seconds, about a second and a half now between himself and our 3rd place driver, Landon Burbage, as you do see Evan Stewart finally able to work his way around Cameron Crankhead. Let's see if we can go back here real quick. Let's throw it into reverse, and let's take a look here, because it looks like he's going to get a good run down to the inside right here. The 48 kind of sticks more to the middle. I don't know if he gets a little loose right here. Maybe gets a love nudge. Just looks like he gets a little, maybe even just a little tight. Watch up the racetrack, trying to keep himself from getting into the outside fence there again. Has to finally roll out of the throttle, give that spot up, and that finally allows Evan Stewart to clear him and take that position. But for Evan, now he's got to work here. He's got to try to make up some gaps. He's got to try to reel that to Landon Burbage back in. For Cameron Crankhead, still trying to hang on to that 5th position. And now he's got Virgil Perriman, Zach Perry, Ryan Haller, Keegan Huey, and Grant Applegate not too far away from him, ready to reel him in, as we do see Jaden Porter headed down pit road here. Jaden makes a earlier pit stop here, so green flag pit stops on the horizon. He comes down pit road a lot earlier than everybody else, and unfortunately, though, he's going to pay the price for it, as I do believe he earns himself a black flag down pit sign. Too fast on pit road entry for the 74 ride. And for Jaden Porter, that is going to come with a whole down pit road. So you see the work is done. That car has been fixed up. It's got new tires. It's got fuel in it. He was hoping that it would work to his advantage, getting the fresher tire sooner than everybody else. Unfortunately, though, he will lose a lap or two down pit road. But we see the caution flag come out. We just saw Porter come down pit side. If he would have hung on for a little bit while longer, he could have been able to use this pit stop to his advantage. But now here we go. We're going to see Logan Perriman in the 20 ride of Jackson Branscombe. Now, I can't quite tell right there. Was there contact? Looked like they were tight together, and potential contact here between the two of them. And that's just going to spin the 99 right. So for Perriman, he's trying to cut back down the racetrack, look for good exit speed. The 20 ride, though, gets a great run down through 1 and 2. And yeah, there it is. He's just comes up off the apron just ever so slightly. The 99 trying to come down a little bit. They don't leave either of them enough room for a mistake right there. And unfortunately, a mistake happens. Contact's made. self-cleaning racetrack. The 99 is going to continue to wash downwards. The 20 is going to get back into them. And finally, we're going to see Logan Perriman make hard contact there with the inside fence, and so doesn't Jackson Branscombe. So pretty solid contact there for both the 99 and the 20 machines out there on the speedway. And that puts us back under our second caution flag of the day. Now, for Jaden Porter, looks like he is still down pit side. So, unfortunately for Jaden, it looks like he has lost about, I'm going to say, 4 laps now on the racetrack, and potentially going to be 5 here as the race leaders may roll around him. And we're going to see our race leaders stay out. So even with 3 sets of tires, these guys are still yet to pit here. So for Jordan Fisher, Joseph Smith, Landon Burbage, Evan Stewart, Cameron Craighead, Zach Perry, Ryan Haller, Keegan Huey, all yet to make a pit stop at all here this evening. For Grant Applegate, he was down pit side on lap number 10, so he did make a pit stop there during that first caution flag of the day, but he has scored back in that 9th position. And then we see Virgil Perriman, Austin Guerrero, Michael Ponder Jr., Zach Clater, Trent Johns, Jason Bogart, Jackson Branscombe, Logan Perriman, all come down pit road. Wyatt Mickelson also down pit side, so isn't Jaden Porter. And we did see Lucien Thompson Parmenter not come down pit road there as well. Unfortunately, not in line for a lucky dog. And we did see Marquand Brewer jump back out onto the racetrack as well. And I do believe that with Wyatt Mickelson coming down pit side there as well, I'm not sure if anyone is going to get a free pass here this evening. And I believe for Jackson Branscombe and Logan Perriman, the 2 drivers that got collected in that caution flag that was just thrown, both drivers, as they were parked down on the apron, they both ended up losing a lap there as well. So unfortunately, both drivers behind the 8 ball here, and they're going to be back behind these guys a lap down out on the racetrack, and they're going to have to try to get some lucky breaks here, try to work themselves back into it. Now we see the 17 of Bogart going around right here. Not sure what just happened there to Jason, but he goes around. We saw Zach Clater. He catches up. Here's Virgil Perriman back in 13th. I do believe for Bogart, he is going to get the wave, and here we go. He's going to get back on the throttle and roll back around these guys. Now he's hoping that he can catch back up to the rear of the field before we get rolling here once again back to the green flag, as Trent Johns has worked his way down pit road here as well. And for Trent, he's been parked down pit side now for at least a lap. He's lost a lap, almost 2 here, as we get ready to go back to green flag racing. Unscheduled stop there for the 8 ride, and it looks like he may be down there for an extended period of time here in our Clash at Dover, here to kick off the 2026 of the Wheel-to-Wheel Racing League. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, here we go, back to green flag racing. Everyone's able to keep their cars pointing the right direction as Evan Stewart gets a great launch, great start right there, clears his teammate Joseph Smith, and as that 39 rider Jordan Fisher has done all evening long, just continues to lead the way. But one car to keep an eye on is that 48 ride of Cameron Craighead. Seems like short runs. This 48 carries a ton of speed, has some great runs here. We saw it early on in the first couple restarts here on the day that the 48 has shown some good speed on the starts, but there towards the end of that run, he was really falling off the pace, and I'm really quite surprised we did not see this 48 come down pit road and make a pit stop right there. Maybe just trying to hit his pit window. Maybe a lot of these drivers are only expecting to come down pit side one time throughout this feature event. Maybe it's still a little too early. Maybe they can only run, that 50 or 60 laps, and they knew that they were going to be short on fuel, so they're going to continue to keep on rolling and going to hope to maybe try to catch another caution flag here in a few more laps, and maybe that's when we'll see them head down pit side. As we do see Trent Johns roll back out here, so the juiced monster ride gets rolling again back out on the racetrack. Jaden Porter, though, unfortunately, still down pit road, and there you go. One car parked down against the infield fence. It's the 88th, the National Guard ride of Austin Guerrero. Unfortunately, Heavy front end damage here for the 88 ride, and that will put us back under the caution flag. So we'll have to wait and see if more tankers will come down pit side here as we see some contact. Not sure who that is. Is that potentially? Yes, it is Michael Ponder Jr. right here. So Ponder rolling underneath of the 88 ride. Austin Guerrero's trying to keep himself rolling, but the 13 carrying a lot of speed on corner exit just washes up the racetrack, and as he does wash up the racetrack, he washes up into the left rear there of the 88 ride and knocks him loose and shoots him down the racetrack, and unfortunately right here, heavy front end contact there with that inside wall. Tons of damage there for Austin, and unfortunately that is going to set him quite a bit back here in this race. Hopefully he's got a quick repair. Hopefully he can get that car fixed up and back out there into the action. But as of right now, hasn't come down pit side. Still has a lot of damage on it. We'll see if he makes his way down pit road. We'll see if there's any other tankers here as well. Right now it doesn't look like anyone will come down pit side, so we will keep it rolling here. And we'll see. Here comes. Looks like Jaden Porter, who's still down pit road. Looks like Grant Applegate, who we saw down pit sign on lap number 10. He's going to come back down pit road. So it looks like maybe a little strategy call there for Grant Applegate. And for drivers not needing repairs or drivers trying to, play a little strategy here, Applegate's the only one that makes his way down pit road. We do see Guerrero's down there, obviously looking to get this car repaired. He's the National Guard machine man. That's a lot of front end damage. If you don't got a quick repair, you could be down pit side here for an extended period of time as he'll look to find his pit stall. He'll make the hard left-hand turn down into his box, and the crew will go to work getting this car repaired, trying to get it fixed up and back into one piece, and it doesn't look like that's going to be a quick repair for the 88 ride. So for Guerrero, he may be parked down pit road for an extended period of time trying to get that thing fixed up. We'll have to wait and see if he elects to try to play a little strategy, kind of leave pit road a couple times, try to find it a couple times, try to get it fixed back up and back into one piece out there on the racetrack. As the 13 ride right there, Michael Ponder Jr. unfortunately getting into the 88, calls in our caution flag there, and that will put us back ready to rock and roll us down across the start-finish line. We'll get them stacked up, racked up, ready to go back to green flag racing. Now Austin Guerrero does leave pit road. He does still have some pretty solid front-end damage here, but he will keep himself on the lead lap. Now he cannot come back down pit road right here. He's going to have to hope for another caution flag here. He's going to have to hope for another quick yellow, bring himself an opportunity to get down pit road, let the crew go to work, try to get it fixed up a little bit more to where he doesn't have that heavy, front end and left front damage. And obviously you don't want to add any extra damage by getting into the fence or pushing that car too hard, but that is definitely going to be something to keep an eye on here, because as he's got that car tore up, it's going to be tougher and tougher to handle, and it's going to be hard for him to, potentially try to keep it out of more issues here if we do go on another, 10, 15, 20 lap run here before the next caution flag. And for all these drivers at the front of the field, you got to wonder what the tires are going to do here. Our top 8 all yet to come down pit road. Everyone else back behind them has been down pit side. They have put on fresh tires there on lap number 38. So we got to wonder and see, if they're just going to be able to use the fresh tires to their advantage to gain a ton of positions here throughout this run and maybe use it to their advantage to put themselves into a position to move forward. As here we go, 48 again. Great restart right there. And for Cameron Craighead, he's going to work his way back up into the second as contact again between him and the 31 of Joseph Smith. Smith gets up, takes the outside fence. He may be seeing red. He'll be looking to try to get back up, and after that 48 ride is a great restart there again for the 48. We talked about how this car just really seems to fire off strong. He gains a ton of positions there on the restarts, and right there he was able to gain a quick 3 spots. Restarted back in 5th, finds himself now in 2nd, but Jordan Fisher nowhere to be seen as he looks to continue to pull farther and farther away. Is everyone else back here battling hard out on the racetrack as Virgil Perriman and the number 18 will make the pass on the 20 of Jackson Branscombe for 11th. Michael Ponder Jr. sits there in that 10th position, but right in front of him, it's door-to-door action as Keegan Huey and the number 76 of Zach Perry duke it out, and it looks like for the 38, he'll jump up into the 6th position. Perry back into 7th. Now it's Ryan Haller in the 99 of Logan Perriman, door-to-door. This is a battle for the 8th and 9th position. For Perriman, he's trying to work his way inside the top 8. For Ryan Haller, he's trying to keep himself there in the 8th position, and it looks like down into corner number 3, they will get a little bit more single file. Haller will stay there. Ah, look out! Oh, great piece of driving right there for Ryan Haller. As we saw Zach Perry get up, hard contact into the outside fence. The 60 Ryan was able to see it, makes the right call, jumping down low, gets around that 76, and now looking to complete the pass here on Zach Perry for position number 7. Now Perry, that was a pretty big hit. That was a heavy lick there. You gotta wonder if maybe some right front damage there for that 1776 Motorsports ride. And here comes the Toyota 99 ride. We'll also get around him. Now looking underneath of Mr. Ryan Haller here. Haller and Zach Perry, 2 of the 8 drivers that have yet to make a green flag pit stop here in this race. Logan Perriman is the first driver on new tires here, now up and into position number 7. So he's only picked up about 2 spots or so here throughout this run. We got to wonder, how much more will he be able to gain here? 38 lap better tires compared to, tires the driver started with. I figured he would have been maybe moving through the field a little bit quicker than what he has been, but maybe longer in the run here, especially if we stay clean and green for a long period of time, may come into their game plan, may work into their favor. But for right now, Jordan Fisher, Evan Stewart, they're sitting pretty. Landon Burbage back up into 3rd, and now there's contact. Look out, Joseph Smith and Cameron Crankan get tied together. Crankan's up into the outside fence. He slowed down the back straight away. Heavy right front damage here for the 48, and he'll fall all the way back into that 12th position. He's now got Wyatt Mickelson, the 17 ride of Jason Bogart, Zach Clater back there behind him, I do believe. Unfortunately here for Grant Applegate a little farther back as well, and we will see the caution flag fly. So the yellow flag gets displayed. I do believe this is going to be our competition caution here at lap number 50. I don't think there was any issues or incidents. I didn't see anyone else going around, but let's see if we can get another look here at the 48, because Cameron Crankan's steamrolling through the field. You don't want to start the season off on the wrong foot and already giving yourself a penalty here before any points race. So we'll have to see if he gives any payback to this 31 Ryan. May just be pointing the finger at him, giving him a couple hand gestures, showing his displeasure here with that 31 ride. Because he's probably not very happy with that contact, but I feel there's a couple cars around him here that probably aren't super happy with the way he has ran them here early in this race. And now that we're halfway through, we'll have to wait and see how this kind of gets played out, because the caution flag came out. He was scored way back here, at least for a little while. But let's take a look back at the contact, because here we go, down in through corner number 1 and 2. So he's sitting in position number, I think, 3 or 4 right here. The 2 right of Burbage gets underneath of him, makes that pass. The 31 comes with a big head of steam, gets into him right there. They make contact and shoots him up the racetrack. Pancakes that outside fence, pretty solid contact there, but he loses all of these positions. And now he's lost all these spots. The caution flag is yet to fly. And as they roll down and out at corner number 3 and 4, this is where we'll see that yellow flag be displayed. And the 48 ride scored a little bit farther back there. So interesting to see that he drove kind of back up and went down pit road, sitting in about that 4th or 5th position. But he's going to be looking to get some damage repaired. And now we do see how some of that strategy may work out as the 20 ride of Jackson Branscombe stays out, does not come down pit side here. And he may be our race leader here for the restart. For Jordan Fisher, though, he's out in front, man. He's been setting sail all evening long. Landon Burbage will be now he comes out second there at a pit road. Evan Stewart right behind him. Keegan Huey, Grant Applegate, Logan Perriman, Ryan Haller, Jason Bogarts back in about the 9th spot with Zach Perry rounding at our top 10. Virgil Perriman, Michael Ponder Jr. our top 12 with Joseph Smith and Cameron Crankhead down pit side, both down there for an extended period of time trying to get some repairs done to their race cars. And for Joseph Smith, he gets sent loose. For Cameron Crankhead, he's still down there. Zach Clater still down there getting some damage repaired to his race car. So we'll have to wait and see, because this could be a big restart now. Here we go. We do see Jackson Branscombe head down pit side here. I'm not sure if he missed pit road or didn't see pit lane open, unfortunately, or maybe just wanted to lead a lap right there, and comes down pit side this time. Going to get some work done to that 20 ride, and unfortunately got some damage, or not some damage, but got a black flag there coming down pit road, and that could really affect his race here this evening. As Bill Fisher says, if the 48 keeps bouncing off all the cars, he will be wrecked most races. Show some respect, 48. I feel that might be a testament from a few of those guys towards the front of the field, but we'll get them stacked up. We'll get them all racked up and get ready to go back to green flag racing as Jordan Fisher. Where in the world is Fisher? Fisher's back there in about the 9th position here for this restart. So for our race leader for majority of this race, he's going to be a bit back behind these guys. A lot of the cars in front of them pitted back on lap 38, so a much shorter pit stop for them, maybe just fuel only. Landon Burbage, though, has that race lead. He'll get ready to be set loose and look to try to keep him back there at bay, is down and out of the Echo Park restart zone. Here we go, and there they go. Virgil Perriman, the fresh tires, the cold tires, and unfortunately we see this a lot here at Dover as the older tires, or not older tires, but the fresh tires here, the low pressure, the cold tires, these restarts tend to wreak havoc, and unfortunately we end up seeing a lot of tire spin. And right there for Virgil Perriman, that's all it took, as the 18 just getting back on the throttle. He's not the only one that runs into this issue, but he's the only one that goes around. As you see the 61 ride, he's trying to get going here. He's got the 31 on his back bumper, and unfortunately he gets up into the outside fence. The 18 ride loses the handle. He ends up going around, walks down the racetrack now. Great heads up right there. I don't know if there was tire spin or a missed shift for Michael Ponder Jr., but somehow or another, he's able to avoid making any contact there with that 18 ride and keeps himself clean and out of the damage out there. Is Brady King in the chat. Brady, how are you? Brady coming in, says howdy in the chat. Howdy, how are you? Brady coming in, showing the love here this evening. And we'll get them all stacked up, though. We'll get them racked up rather quickly. We will see a few of these drivers, including that 18 ride of Virgil Perriman coming down pit road, trying to get some additional repairs to their race cars. And we also see Cameron Crankhead, Zach Clater's coming back down pit side. We see the 61s back down there as well. Unfortunately for Lucien Thompson Parmenter, he is quite a few laps down here on the evening, so even though we may have gotten some damage and contact out of that, unfortunately really not going to affect his positioning out there on the speedway. For Austin Guerrero, we did see that 88 ride there a couple restarts ago make heavy contact with the inside fence. It looks like he's taking that car back down behind pit wall and off the racetrack. So has some Jaden Porter and Marquin Brewer. So we started with 21 drivers here in the clash this afternoon. Looks like 3 drivers have already hung them up here in this one, and now that could give a couple, maybe another spot here to loosen. So if you can jump back out there, run another 7-8 laps, should be able to leapfrog the 88 ride of Austin Guerrero here for at least another position. Now it's not going to make much of a difference. There's no points on the line. This is a fun run, but this could be a big learning experience here for some of the younger drivers, some of the newer drivers to the series, but also for all these other guys. Even if you're tore up, you're tied up, we probably will come back here to Dover at some point in time throughout this season, and maybe even a couple times. So you may have to try to figure things out, maybe see if you can try to put yourself into a good position to, maybe try and give yourself an opportunity, a shout here, and a learning experience that you can kind of put some notes into your notebook. You know, what kind of transpired, how the car handled, what you needed to change, what you need to practice on, what you need to get the feel for, and you can kind of work on, you know, throughout the season and practice sessions and the next time that we come back here to Dover International Speedway. But your night may not end well here tonight, but it may make up for it in the future as we'll get them stacked up, racked up, ready to go back to green flag racing as, you know, that halfway marker, that restart right there, obviously causing another caution flag. You know, that midway point, seeing the yellow flag come out, it's going to make things interesting here for another restart, another opportunity for drivers to go to battle. The 48 right here, a little farther back, they got to get in line, and we do see they all start to get a little bit more stacked up, but for Cameron Craighead, he'll be a little bit farther back here. We'll have to wait and see if he can try to reel into that 31 ride. That's going to be something we'll want to watch here throughout the rest of this feature event. Joseph Smith and Cameron Craighead, they've butted heads here a few times already in this race, and they may not be done doing it as of yet. As here we go, green flag back out into the air, driver set loose, and again you see a great restart for that 48 ride. Gets a big run, and he is quickly there. He is on the back bumper of that 31 ride as Landon Burbage, though, out in front. Landon's got the top spot. He's got the race lead. And for that two machine, he's looking to set sail. But the battle in back here behind them is look out. Haller gets sideways. He almost goes around. Now they're going to stack up here. There goes the 20. There goes the 18. Caution flag is back out on the racetrack. Yellow flag is back out. Now, lucky news here for the 60. Ryan Haller is that, man, he was sideways. He was sliding. As right here, contact between him and the 37 of Evan Stewart kicks that rear end out on the Hungary Jack number 60 ride. And, man, sliding sideways. Avoids contact with the 31, but also kind of gets this thing kind of rolling back in the right direction. It's the drivers that start to stack up back behind him that end up getting tagged together. Now he saves it, so great save right there. Great piece of driving for Ryan Haller, able to keep that thing into the outside fence or getting collected by any of these other drivers. But then you're going to see that 20 ride, the 18, they get tied together. The Wild Side Racing Machine unfortunately gets tagged as he's checking up for the contact in front of him, and unfortunately for a driver that's already multiple laps down, Wyatt Mickelson nowhere to go. He kind of gets T-boned right there as the 20 and the 18 wash down the racetrack. 20 makes contact with him, as you do see a couple cats, luckily enough, able to get checked up right there. That is the 8 ride, I do believe, of Mr. Trent Johns, and the number 14 just able to check up enough to avoid running into him. Actually, it's the 0 of Zach Clater, our 13th place driver, who was able to avoid that. Luckily enough, not a great restart for him, and luckily enough, he was able to avoid any contact carnage or anything else right there. As now here we go. We see more drivers again headed down pit side, obviously looking for repairs, looking to maybe play a little strategy, as we saw Mickelson already back down pit side. Here comes Cameron Craighead, Zach Clater, Jackson Branscombe, Virgil Perriman, Trent Johns, Mickelson's down there. Looks like Lucien Thompson Parmenter also back down pit side, as well as LTP heads down pit side, and we'll get them all ready to rock and roll here. Cautions breeding cautions here at Dover. This one's kind of to be expected. Yellows breeding yellows is kind of a common aspect, so we'll see kind of how this one continues on here this afternoon, because obviously we want to see some good green flag laps being laid down, and I think with these yellows, with that mid-race caution, I think everyone's good on fuel. We saw how the tires kind of held up here. Now, the drivers that kind of came down pit road back on lap 38 had those fresh tires. Didn't really make up a whole lot of ground on the older tires there towards the end of that first stage. I thought maybe that the fresh tires wouldn't make that big of a difference, but it doesn't seem like that it has been making a huge difference for a lot of these cats out there on the racetrack, and that's going to be something to look at, because if lap 50 was your final pit stop of the day, we're not going to see these guys come back down pit road unless if it is for, damage repairs or anything else. it could be the bed you made here, and for the strategy, it's worked out perfectly for for Landon Burbage, as he's got the race lead. The Princess Towing number 2 is out in front. Applegate there in second. You know, the strategy's worked out pretty decent for those two. Huey and Perriman sit back in third and fourth. Jason Bogart sits in that fifth position for our early race leader and our halfway race leader here, who led pretty much every lap up and until about lap 51, lap 52. For the 39 of Jordan Fisher, he's back in 6th. And we do see Haller, Perry, Evan Stewart, Michael Potter Jr. rounding out our top 10. Joseph Smith, Jackson Branscombe, Zach Clater, Cameron Crankhead, our top 14, and is down through the Echo Park restart zone. We'll get ready to set them back loose. We'll get ready to go back to green flag racing, and here we go for Landon Burbage. Sees that green flag fly, and now we'll have to wait and see if everyone can keep it pointed in the right direction. See if we can get a couple laps under our belt, but things are just going to continue to pick up. The temperature is going to continue to rise. Drivers are going to continue to get a little bit more heated out there on the speedway, and things are going to just continue to get crazier and crazier here this evening, as Crankhead's back there about that 13th spot. Joseph Smith not too far away from him there in position number 11. We'll keep an eye on that battle as you see Haller and Evan Stewart. They're battling door to door for position number 8 and 9 out there on the racetrack, but for Landon Burbage, he's out in front. He's got that clean air. He's hoping to use it to his advantage, trying to keep all these guys back there at bay as Applegate sits in position number 2. It's another Fish Speed ride out there on the racetrack. He's in second. Logan Perriman trying to hang on to third as Jordan Fisher has worked his way back up inside the top 4, and he continues to look for more as he wants to try to race his way back out in front here at Dover, and he's trying to figure out a way to get around that Buc-ee's number 99 ride of Logan Perriman. Now down through corner number 1, looks like he'll take that run. He'll slide in there and slide up in front of the 99 ride, so move Jordan Fisher back inside the top 3 here this evening. But now looking to try to reel in our top 2 out there on the racetrack as Anna says, "Come on, Landon, you're doing great," cheering on Mr. Burbage here this evening as Landon sitting there in that top spot. Man, this Princess Towing machine has been zooming here this evening, and he's finally got that clean air. I wonder if it'll make a difference, if it'll make a big gap here for the 2 ride to where he can start to try to pull away, put himself into a position or a run like we've seen out of that 39 ride of Jordan Fisher, because once Fisher kind of gets that fresh air, that 39 ride has been gone, but man, he's still showing some pretty good speed back through traffic as well. I thought maybe the traffic would hold him up a little bit more, a little bit longer, but it seems like he's kind of worked his way through the rest of that top 5 rather quickly, and now he's caught up to the back bumper here of his teammate in Grant Applegate. Applegate may not put up too much of a fight, but we do see a bit of a fight back here as we do see the 48 ride of Cameron Crankhead works his way back inside the top 10. The 31 ride Joseph Smith right there to his inside. Now Smith still has a little bit of that right front damage. The 48 ride has been down pit road, has gotten that car virtually back into perfect condition. So I think for the 31, maybe a little bit more off the pace here, but you're going to watch the 48 right there. Gets tight, pushes up the track, almost claims the outside fence, and that will put Smith right back down to his inside. So Smith will jump back into that 10th position. Now we see Virgil Perriman trying to get around him as the 48 does tag the outside fence there down the back straightaway. Be interesting to see kind of how these two will race each other throughout this race, but we do see just in front of them is, oh, another big hit there for Cameron Crankhead another time. Getting into the outside fence. Seems like he's got some good speed. The car seems to work pretty good, but I think he's just trying to get too much out of it, especially on corner exit, as that's, you know, multiple times here this evening. We've seen him get out of the corner and just drive up the track and make heavy contact with the outside safer barrier, and once he kind of starts to tone it down and really starts to try to make sure he doesn't get into that wall, it seems like it's getting his timing off, his braking off, and it seems like he's been a little off once he kind of has to start worrying a little bit more of that that outside fence, and he starts to lose more and more speed, so that unfortunately has affected his race so far here this evening. That's been probably one of his biggest downfalls. But out in front, it is Landon Burbage, who continues to hold on to the race lead. Now he does have Applegate right back to his rear bumper, but back behind him, they've actually pulled away from this number 39 rider, Jordan Fisher. Fisher, unfortunately, now, quite a few car lengths back behind our top two, and they're looking to try to keep it that way and keep this 39 ride back there at bay for the rest of this feature event. But for the Fish Machine, looking to try to get back out in front, trying to, maybe trying to make a little bit of a move ski out there on the speedway, as he's seeing these two be a little bit silly here in front of him. He's saying, all right, Mr. Sillies, you guys jump up there, you guys battle, burn your stuff up, wear your tires out. I'll be here lurking in the weeds, ready to strike when the time is right. Fisher maybe just biding his time here, waiting for his moment to kind of pounce, to jump back out in front and to try and just run away from these two. He doesn't want to keep him on his back bumper. He wants to be able to pull away from them and leave no question about it, trying to steal this race win back away from these two cats in front of him. As here we go. Here comes Applegate again down to the inside. He's trying to work his way around Landon Burbage. Landon, though, trying to battle strong here in that outside groove. He'll stay to that left rear quarter panel, so not yet clear for that 37, but down through corner 3. And out of 4, thought maybe go for the slide job right there. A little bit of a wiggle out of the 2. And for that number 57 of Grant Applegate, he jumps out in front, takes the race lead away from Landon Burbage. Burbage will slide back into second, and there he is right on their back bumper, ready to pounce, ready to make some moves here himself. That 39 of Jordan Fisher rolling there in that 3rd position. Now looking for second, washes up the track right there, got a little tight on corner exit, and that was very, very close. They're not only taking out the 2 ride, but potentially taking himself out of this race. And luckily enough for both drivers, not enough contact to make any major damage or issues there. Down out of core number 4 for Fisher. He'll stay in 3rd. Burbage will stay in 2nd for the time being, as Logan Perriman back there in position number 4. Continuing to look for more, but we do see Evan Stewart working his way back inside the top 5. He wants to try to work his way up here, try to make up a gap here, but man, there's a big gap now between our top 3 and our 4th place driver, about 3 seconds separating our top 3 back to that 4th place car and Logan Perriman. Evan Stewart's right there with him, and then another decent gap back to our 6th place driver, Zach Perry, who sits in 6th. Keegan Huey's there in 7th. He's got Ryan Haller working down to his inside. Joseph Smith there in 9th with Virgil Perriman, and Jason Bogart now battling here for position number 10. So Bogart's trying to hang on to the 10th spot for Virgil Perriman. He's looking to take it away. The 18 will move around him and into position number 10 out there on the speedway, as unfortunately we did see Cameron Craighead head down pit side here on lap number 66, 67. So maybe that right front damage becoming too much to handle. He shoots it down pit road, ends up tagging the safer barriers there as well, causing more damage. Kind of probably a black flag for pit road speed there, and looks like he's just gonna tow it right down into his pit stall and off the racetrack, and it looks like he's gonna take that car in behind pit wall, and looks like for that 48, his day may be done here early this afternoon. So for Cameron Craighead, tough break here in this one, obviously giving up about 35 laps shy of the checkered flag here this evening, and not continuing the fight here this evening. Luckily enough, this is not a points race, so doesn't have to worry about giving up any points or anything else. But we do see Grant Applegate, once he's kind of taken over that race lead, man, he's starting to pull away himself. So for Applegate, he may have been the the Trojan horse kind of back there mid-pack, deeper in the field throughout the first half of this race, just kind of biding his time, waiting for his time to strike. And for the 57, now that he's jumped out in front, he's worked his way around Landon Burbage. It's pulled out to about a 2nd lead here between him and that Princess Towing number 2 ride. For Burbage, he's been able to do a great job holding off Jordan Fisher, but it seems like Fisher, who kind of ran away with it in the first half of this race, starting to see a little bit more pace and a little bit more trouble here in this final stage of the race, in this final second half. And unfortunately, he's watching Applegate and Burbage get smaller and smaller out of his front windshield. And all the dominance that we've seen out of that 39 ride, you know, early on in this race, now kind of has met his match. We'll have to see if he can kind of get back into it. Maybe he's still trying to save a little bit of tire for later in this race. Maybe he's going to save a little bit of fuel. That all could come to play, but we'll have to see, because for the 39 ride, sitting there in third, I mean, he's still not out of it. He's still very much within striking distance. A late race caution flag could obviously put him right back into the battle, but for right now, if it stays clean and green, giving up this much time may come back to bite him in the butt later in this race. And then we do see his other teammate, Evan Stewart, so it's Fish Speed in first, third, and fourth right now out there on the racetrack, as Evan Stewart was able to complete the pass on Logan Perriman. Perriman does slide back to fifth. Now he has a bit of a gap here to Zach Perry, but Perry, Haller, Joseph Smith starting to reel him in here. Going to drive a little closer to that number 99 ride, and we'll have to wait and see if he can close the gap and reel in and see if they can start a battle here for a top 5 run this afternoon. Right now, they're all three tight together out there on the racetrack for that 6th, 7th, and 8th position. Keegan Huey back there behind them, a couple car lengths. Here we go. We do see Jordan Fisher down pit road. So Fisher heads down pit side. Doesn't look any damage here. Maybe a little right front. We didn't see him get into the wall or anything. So I'm not sure if this is a scheduled green flag pit stop for the 39 ride. But Jordan Fisher comes down pit road, and it looks like he's going to tow it as well. And he's going to take that car down behind pit wall. I'm not sure. It didn't look like anything had went wrong for Jordan Fisher, except for maybe losing a little bit of speed, a little bit of pace, and all of a sudden, looks like he may have given up on this one. Man, a caution flag, anything could have got him right back into the action, man. These late race restarts, you just never know how they play out and how quickly things can turn your way. And Jordan Fisher now down and out of this race as well. Man, that's a huge surprise. I thought we would have saw him duke it out here tooth and nail for the race win right to the end of this one, but his teammate in the Fish Speed, number 57, Grant Applegate, says, whew, one less tough competitor back there behind him that could potentially knock him out of this race win. For Landon Burbage, he'll say thank you for no longer being on my back bumper, but he needs a yellow flag because he is losing more and more time here to Applegate, and Applegate continues to pull farther and farther away from this 2 ride, but he has a 3-second gap between himself and now our new third place driver, Evan Stewart. Stewart sits back here 3 seconds behind Burbage, about 5.2 seconds behind our race leader in that third position. Perriman a little farther back there in fourth, and now we do see that beautiful number 60 ride, that hungry Jack Kroger, number 60 of Ryan Haller, up inside the top 5. So Haller, not on the hauler here this evening, has had a really good, really strong race up inside the top 10 here all evening long. And now with a couple drivers running into some late race issues, for Mr. Haller, he finds himself now inside the top 5, and he's trying to reel in the 99 of Logan Perriman for maybe that 4th position out there on the racetrack. Joseph Smith rolls there in 6th, with Zach Perry in 7th, Keegan Huey there in 8th, Virgil Perriman back in position number 9, Jason Bogart and his Flex Seal 1776 Motorsports ride rounds out our top 10. Then we do see Zach Clater in 11th, Michael Ponder Jr. back in 12th. Jackson Branscombe in 13th with Trent Johns. I believe the first car a couple laps down out there on the racetrack, scored in 14th. Jordan Fisher done and out of this race. Lucen Thompson Parmenter will at least gain another position here later on in this one, but is unfortunately about 16, 17 laps down out of this race in a normal standpoint. And now as they start to click off more of these laps, less and less likely that he'll gain any more positions, but could jump into 15th here, getting around Jordan Fisher here late in this race. And unfortunately, looks like, well, for Marquin Brewer, he's still rolling out there. I'm not sure if he'll have enough time to gain another position or not here throughout this race, as he might be able to pass Cameron Crankhead. Crankhead done and out of this one as well. He might be able to gain that position, but Marquin Brewer rolls there in 18th. Wyatt Mickelson still down pit side back in 19th. Austin Guerrero and Jaden Porter, unfortunately, already down and out of this one as well. So we have virtually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 drivers, I do believe, done and out of this race here this evening, and a few of them, multiple laps down out there on the racetrack. And for Grant Applegate, he sees 10 laps left to go, 90 laps down, 10 laps left to go here in this A-Main feature event. Our first race of the season, now a non-points race here this evening, but this has been an exciting race. Obviously, 3 heat races, and now for our 100-lap A-Main feature event, the laps are getting clicked out. We've seen some craziness, a lot of beating and battling, a lot of back and forth, elbows up, racing out there on the racetrack. And late in this one, a little pit strategy and a little bit of good luck. And now for this 57 ride, Grant Applegate, he finds himself out in front and running away with this one, as he's got 3.5 seconds between himself and our second place driver, Landon Burbage. Burbage sits there in position number 2, and for the 37 ride of Evan Stewart, Evan is slowly reeling him in here. Can Evan Stewart maybe catch up to Landon Burbage, put some pressure onto him for position number 2 here late in this race? As that 57, though, out in front, man, 3.6 seconds. He's got him on cruise control here with 7 laps left to go. Virtually, you'd have to lose, half a second or better a lap for Landon to even catch back up to him. And even then, he'd catch him, but he'd still have to try to figure out a way to get around him. And unfortunately, I think for Landon, the car's just falling off too much. And for Applegate, he's just showing that he's got a strong car, strong hand here, and he'll just kind of cruise control away in this one. I think Landon already knows it. I think maybe even the 2 ride may be toning down the pace here a little bit, just trying to maybe save a little extra tire here in case if there is that late race caution flag. But he's running out of time, man. To see that yellow flag fly, he needs it in a quick hurry. He's got to be careful because he doesn't want to open up the door for Evan Stewart to try to steal that second position away from him. Logan Perriman still sitting solely here in 4th, and then we do see Joseph Smith has worked his way now inside the top 5 as he jumps into that 5th position. Haller, unfortunately, does slide back to 6 with Keegan Huey, Zach Perry, Virgil Perriman, and Jason Bogart rounding out the top 10. Zach Clater's back in 11th. Michael Ponder Jr. is there in 12th. Jackson Branscombe, Trent Johns, Jordan Fisher, Lucien Thompson, Parmenter back in 16th. Marquin Brewer, Cameron Crankhead, Wyatt Mickelson, Austin Guerrero, and Jaden Porter rounding out the 21 car field here in this one. As here we go, our closing laps here on the evening is nice and easy. Down and out of core number 4, back down across the line. For Applegate, it is 3 laps left to go here in this one. 3 more laps for Grant Applegate, virtually just be on cruise control and pull himself up and into victory lane here this evening. Only 10 drivers even left on the lead lap. And for Applegate, he sees our top 10 just in front of him, with Jason Bogart potentially the next driver to lose a lap out there on the racetrack, as the 57 reels right to his back bumper, clicks off another lap. 2 laps left to go. Now, if you're Applegate, you're just hoping that you can get back to the start-finish line. Do not want to see this late race caution flag, and you do not want to cause it. Working yourself through this lap traffic, you may just want to take it easy. Sit in between the 17 and the 14 here. Gets a great run on corner exit, and back down across the line, he will see the white flag fly. So this will be our final lap here this evening in the Clash at Dover for our opening race with the Wheel-to-Wheel Racing League. It is the Fish Speed number 57 of Applegate. Final time down through 3 and out of 4, it is Grant Applegate, who picks up the checkered flag here in our season opener in the Wheel-to-Wheel Racing League for 2026. Our second season gets kicked underway, and we are ready to see these drivers duke it out each and every single Sunday for the next, 8 months? 9 months of racing action, man. It's going to be a long season, a great season. We're going to see a lot of amazing drivers park themselves up in victory lane, but it gets kicked off with the Fish Speed 57 ride. Grant Applegate picking up the win here in this one. Landon Burbage comes home in second. Evan Stewart back there in third. Logan Perriman and Joseph Smith are top 5 with Haller, Huey, Perry, Virgil Perriman, and Jason Bogart rounding up the top 10 as we'll get ready to pull our top 3 up and into the booth here for some quick post-race interviews here in just a couple seconds. We'll wait for them to jump in here. We'll wait and see if they do jump in here. Bit of a longer one here this afternoon. I'm not sure if they realized that it was going to be this long, so we'll see if we can get them in here to the waiting room for post-race interviews if they want them or not. I'm not sure if it's going to be mandated here for it being a little pre-race season race here this evening, as Anna in the chat says, "You did great, Landon. Proud grandma here in this one." Also says, "Ryan, you did great." Also, yeah, heck of a run right there for Haller and for Landon Burbage. And if you guys enjoyed that racing action and you guys enjoyed this burnout by Grant Applegate, make sure you guys jump into the comment section right now. Congratulate this 57 ride. Make sure you hit the like button on the stream and make sure you hit that subscribe button and become part of the Peacemaker family here today. Man, what a run, what a race here for all these drivers, man. That was a ton of fun. That was a great performance, great show here this evening, and an amazing way to kind of get this season kicked off, as next Sunday, these guys will be back in action. We should see a lot more drivers out there as well for our Daytona duels down at Daytona International Speedway. They'll get the battle next Sunday night, and it will set the stage for our Daytona 500 2 weeks from now. But here tonight, this race obviously going to Grant Applegate. Let's see if we can get him up here into the booth. Now, I don't see him jumping in here. I don't see him in the Discord either. Oh, no. No. Well, we see... Oh, there he is. All right, here we go. We got Applegate in there. All right, let's pull Applegate up into the booth right now. Hey, Grant, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. They get a copy?
Yes, sir.
All right, Grant, man, great run, great drive for yourself here this evening as you pull that 57 right up here into victory lane. Take us back through it because we didn't see you out there for, obviously, our heat race. You start at the back of the pack here, back in that 20th position, and it seemed like kind of throughout that first half, you were just kind of taking it a little easy and breezy. We saw you down pit side a couple times, trying to maybe make some changes to that race car, maybe trying to play a little bit of different strategy, and in the end, all of a sudden, you jump up here at that halfway marker. You find yourself restarting in second to the outside of Landon Burbage. You battle hard there with him for a little bit. Finally, you get around him, and once you did, you never looked back as you just pulled away and just kept on driving away here from the rest of the field as you park yourself up and in victory lane. Grant, take us back through it. What's going through your mind?
Yeah, at the beginning of the race, like you said, I didn't run either heat race, and I had about 3 minutes to warm up because I had just got home. So the first half was just trying to figure out how you're supposed to drive the track because the track drives way differently now with the new car and the new tire and more horsepower in the car and the new tire. So just learning what you're supposed to be doing. And then we got a couple cautions, and I was like, ooh, this is perfect time for a little strategy. And the lap 42 caution, I just basically ran 2 seconds slow per lap and burned off like 1% of tire for those 8 laps until we got to the halfway point. And then the halfway caution came out and took fuel only just to make sure, because cautions didn't count caution laps. So I wanted to make sure I had enough fuel. And yeah, then was just Evan and Fisher speeding on pit road definitely helped out a bunch. So seen my opportunity and I took what I could, and I didn't think I would drive away, but once I got to lead, I was pretty happy with being able to aero block and win the race that way. But apparently I had the speed to win outright, so that's good. Happy for that.
Again, definitely happy for that. Obviously, we saw early on your teammate there in the Fish Speed number 39 of Jordan Fisher. He was kind of in that same boat as you were in the second half. He was just out in front, pulling away from the rest of the field. I think he was feeling really, really good about his chances there. And then obviously as things kind of flip-flopped throughout that, that mid-race stage, he kind of was a little farther back, maybe burned up a little bit more of his tires through some of that or throughout some of the traffic there. He caught up and got into third. He was right there on your back bumper. That's when you were able to get around Landon, and then he couldn't really get past Landon. I'm not sure if just, being a little farther back in that traffic, having that dirty air on the 39 ride, couldn't really see that speed that we saw out of him early in this race, and eventually he took it down pit side and off the speedway. So, maybe you can shine a little light on that. Is that kind of what happened there, the 39 ride, or maybe you had to go to bed, or what may have been the issue there that we didn't see Jordan, kind of jump up there and duke it out with you for the race win tonight?
I know I gave him dirty air one good time, and that kind of gave me the room to where I could set up a pass to get around Landon. And then once I got around Landon and kind of started driving away, Fisher was getting more and more frustrated. And I think it was he was getting more and more frustrated and started burning his tires up. And I think he realized he had burnt the tires up. And yeah, after that, I don't know if he got in the wall or something, but once I think Landon was like 1.2 and Fisher was like 1.8 with like 25 to go. And I think Fisher knew his tires were done, so he just parked it, I guess. He didn't really specify in the chat or anything, so he never said anything.
Yeah, tough break there for him. And you talk about the frustrations. I'm sure there was a little bit of frustrations there, early on and throughout that middle portion as we saw another fish speed run. Joseph Smith, take us through, if you got a little bit of words out of it, man. Him and Cameron Crankhead seem to be really butting heads there out there on the racetrack. Even Evan Stewart kind of got into it a little bit there with that 48 ride as well. Was there talk in the chat kind of about that and about the driving there between those two?
It sounded like hard racing, but I mean, I got to be completely honest. I was not even in the top 10, and then I was top 3, so I didn't see much of what happened. Because I was in the back for the first 50 laps, and then a pit strategy, I was in the top 3. So it sounded like some frustrated with like overly hard racing in a clash race from somebody who didn't seem like they were going to be able to win the race, but not going to specify anything for sure. So that's
Yeah,
just what it sounded like from my
yeah,
end.
yeah. There was definitely some rubbing and racing up there with your teammates at the front, battle with that 48 ride, man. It made it very exciting for all the fans in the stands. Definitely made a great show there towards the front of the field as Fisher just kind of pulled away. They were in a dogfight back there for second, third, fourth, and fifth for a lot of that opening half, and then the second half, you know. It was kind of just the same, but it was between you, Landon, and that 39 ride, and all of a sudden you come out on top, out in front, and you pull away with it and pull yourself up here into victory lane for the, clash here at Dover International Speedway. Grant, who would you like to thank for a great run, great drive, and a great start to the season?
Always first and foremost is the admins who spend the money to make the world go round when it comes to iRacing leagues. It's not cheap, so I appreciate everything they do. And then just my teammates, I actually have a team now, and I feel like I got good teammates. So we'll see what happens when the season comes around, but hopefully more of what happened today. And I'm feeling a lot better as a driver personally since I've last raced here. Just figuring out how to actually drive and race specifically because I felt like I was fast, but just didn't really know how to race people. So yeah, appreciate everybody putting on the show and looking forward to the rest of the season.
Absolutely, and we can't wait to see you guys back out there. Obviously, next week is another non-points race, but it does set the stage there for our virtual Daytona 500 in a couple weeks' time for our regular season points, opener here at Daytona. So hopefully we'll see you back out there. Maybe we'll see you right back up here in the broadcast booth, and maybe continue to carry momentum into that regular season and winning our two non-point races here to start the season.
I appreciate it. I'm a lot more confident in my ability now, but when it comes to plate racing, I still don't think I'll do much. But we'll see what happens. You have a good night.
Absolutely, you as well. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for Mr. Applegate, picking up the checker flag and parking himself up and into victory lane here this evening as we'll get ready now to pull in our second place finisher, Landon Burbage. Hey, Landon, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. You get a copy?
Got a copy.
Landon, man, great run, great drive for you here this evening, man. As we saw you battling hard in the heat race, and then coming to this feature event, we see you pick up some good spots, work yourself inside the top three, and then battle in there for not only the top three, top five for quite a while there throughout that first half. Second half, you kind of make a little bit of strategy calls. You come out of the pits in first, and all of a sudden, it gives you a golden opportunity here, with that clean air to try to get a couple good restarts and try to, pull away there. Unfortunately, you were able to pull away a little bit, but Applegate draws you back in, and late in this race, seemed like your car started to fall off. His car was heating up. He gets back around you, and then runs away with this one. No late race restarts, no craziness here to finish this race off, to give yourself another chance at stealing this win. But man, take us back through it, and what's going through your mind after a great night here at the racetrack?
Yeah. Throughout the start of this race, I kind of during practice I wasn't really that fast. I didn't really have much confidence coming into this race, and then as the race went on, I raced that first heat, and I was like, man, I kind of actually got a little bit more speed than I expected, and then I was kind of feeling around the track, trying to run the lines, and I found one that was really getting me some speed, and lap after lap, I was getting quicker and quicker and quicker, and figured out how to save the tire and just to run the line. And I was watching Jordan as well, like he would kind of dip down and like slide back up a little bit, and I tried that, and it definitely worked out in my favor. But unfortunately, came home with a P2 finish, which not bad. I mean, first race in wheel to wheel. I will say it was a very good race tonight, especially with Jordan and all them, and with Grant. And yeah, I think he just had a little bit fresher tires than me, and he got past me, and I wasn't really able to catch up. So good racing with him, and yeah, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Good racing, good fun here, and a great way to kick this season off here in the Clash. As Landon, you park yourself up here on the podium in position number 2. Who'd you like to thank here, getting this season kicked underway and back out there on the racetrack and back up here into the broadcast booth?
Definitely want to thank my beautiful girlfriend. She was watching the whole race. Want to thank my grandma, my dad, my mom, grandpa, Remington Prince. Shout out to Prince Towing. Um, yeah, everybody who always watches me, all my fans out there. I know I probably got some fans from Redemption. But other than that, yeah, this great race tonight, and thank you for the broadcast.
Absolutely, brother. Always my pleasure being up here in the booth, watching you guys battle out there on the racetrack. And we can't wait to see you guys back in action again next Sunday night. Another non-points race as we head to Daytona International Speedway for our duels at Daytona and set the stage for our virtual Daytona 500 here in the Wheel to Wheel Racing League. And Landon, hopefully we'll get you right back up here in the broadcast booth and maybe one spot better and into victory lane next Sunday.
Oh yeah, man, I'll be here all season, so it's gonna be a good one.
Beautiful. We look forward to it. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for Landon Burbage as Landon comes home in position number 2 here this evening. Solid drive, solid run there for that number 2 machine. The Princess Towing Ride comes home in second as we'll get ready now to pull in our third place finisher, the 37 of Evan Stewart. Hey, Evan, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. Did you get a copy?
What's up, buddy?
Not much, mister. Hey, man, heck of a run, heck of a drive. You're able to park that Fitch Speed 37 ride up here on the podium to kick this season off, brother. Take us back through it. What's going to go through your mind after, obviously, a great heat race and then a tight battle, tough battles out there throughout this feature event, and you're able to come out with a top 3 performance?
Yeah, definitely for a clash, there were some haymakers thrown, I guess. I told everybody take it easy, but on iRacing that never happens. I think I definitely would have been in a better spot if I didn't speed exiting pit lane. That was kind of a haha money funny moment on me. It's a good thing that this wasn't for points, but if Jordan was here, he definitely would have gotten third place, but he had some damage, so he decided to call it a night. Um, fish speed cars are looking all right for the season. So all we can do is go to the duels next week and hopefully like get a good front row spot maybe.
Yeah, absolutely. Setting the stage there for our virtual Daytona 500 in a couple weeks from now. Now you guys kind of, go from a short track back into the super speedways. Grant talked about, he tried to learn these cars again, try to figure out, the different aero and the tires and how things were working with these things throughout most of this feature event. For you guys, you got a little bit more practice and obviously the heat races there than Grant did. Do these things handle a whole lot different than what they did last year?
Yeah, the new horsepower package and the tire model. It's I don't want to say it's like bad, but I definitely do like it. The people who push you will be punished on the long run. Um, for a person like me, I'm more focused towards the long run, so it doesn't really bother me. If as long as you can keep them in an optimal temp, you should be good. I ran a Nashville race earlier that was like 71-degree track temp. A guy took no tires. I was on 4 and I couldn't pass him. So it definitely makes for interesting strategy calls. And I can't wait to see what kind of strategy calls it ensues in our season. There's a lot of fast guys that weren't here tonight, so can't wait.
Yeah, absolutely. Can't wait to see you guys back out there, back to battle next Sunday night. But here tonight, man, great run, great drive. Great to see you guys back out there on the racetrack. Who'd you like to thank for, getting, season 2 here of the Wheel to Wheel Racing League kicked underway?
First and foremost, I'd like to thank KK Woodscapes, the trophy sponsor. Kevin is a great guy. He does a lot of work with a lot of other leagues. I can't thank him enough for wanting to do this. This helps me in the league in a big way. I'd like to thank Jordan for being hasn't been announced on the broadcast yet, but he is our in-season tournament sponsor. So I'd like to thank him for that. My family, some of them watch, some of them don't, but the ones that do watch, I really do appreciate. Like my brother and my uncle, they keep me going. So thank you guys, and you. I want to thank you for coming back for season 2. You do an amazing job, and I just can't say thank you enough.
Absolutely, brother. Always my pleasure. No better place to be on a Sunday night than up here in the booth and watching you guys beat and bang and battle out there on the Speedway. Evan, congrats on the 3rd place run here tonight, man. We can't wait to see you guys back in action again next Sunday.
Yes, sir. See y'all in Florida.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our 3rd place finisher, Mr. Evan Stewart. Evan comes home in that 3rd position, man. Heck of a run, heck of a drive there for that 37 machine. Unfortunately, though, that is going to do it for us here this evening. We can't thank you guys enough for tuning in and showing the love here in this one. We can't wait to get you guys back in here, tuning in and watching some more great racing. We'll be back live again tomorrow night with some more amazing racing here on Peacemaker Gaming. And, we're live pretty much every single night. So if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, turn that bell notification on. That way you never miss it when we go live here on Peacemaker Gaming. And make sure you hit the like button for us. Drop a comment. Tell us what you thought of the broadcast. Tell us who you're cheering for. And, what you thought of the racing action here this evening. And hopefully we'll see you guys back in here for some more of our racing action throughout the rest of the week. And back in here again next Sunday night for some more amazing racing here on the Wheel to Wheel Racing League. Well, thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for tuning in. And we'll see you guys back here tomorrow night, man. Peace and love, ladies and gentlemen. Peace and love.
Here at KK Woodscapes, we only work with the finest woods, the finest tools. We sand the wood here at KK Woodscapes. We stir the paint with a wooden stick here at KK Woodscapes. And then we brush the wood with a wooden brush here at KK Woodscapes. And when it's all said and done, We have these perfectly manicured nails. Put the plaques in the trophies in the envelopes, ship them to your box, and on your way to you to commemorate your special day. Got wood, KK Woodscapes. Here at KK Woodscapes, we only work with the finest woods, the finest tools. We sand the wood here at KK Woodscapes. We stir the paint with a wooden stick here at KK Woodscapes. And then we brush the wood with a wooden brush here at KK Woodscapes. And when it's all said and done, we have these perfectly manicured nails. Put the plaques in the trophies in the envelopes, ship them to your box, and on your way to you to commemorate your special day. Got wood, KK Woodscapes.
Yeah. Burning rubber, tires screaming, engines go berserk. Pit stop precision like surgeons at work. Wheel to wheel, hands on the grip, no chill. Broadcast live, peacemaker, keeping it real. Speed demons on the track, hearts racing with the sound. Slide tight in the curves, sparks flying off the ground. Victory's a beast, it don't come easy. Wheel to wheel racing, the grind stay greasy. 360 on the asphalt, danger a flirt. Every lap closer, the tires eating dirt. Peacemaker's lens, the hype ignites. Streaming the chaos under neon lights. Draft game strong, slingshot out the lane. Calculated risk deep in the veins. Checker flags wave dreams on the brink. Fast decisions where you barely get to blink. Speed demons on the track, hearts racing with the sound. Slide tight in the curves, sparks flying off the ground. Victory's a beast, it don't come easy. Wheel to wheel racing, the grind stay greasy. On the asphalt, danger a flirt. Every lap closer, the tires eating dirt. Peacemaker's lens, the hype ignites. Streaming the chaos under neon lights. Draft game strong, slingshot out the lane. Calculated risk deep in the veins. Checker flags wave dreams on the brink. Fast decisions where you barely get to blink. Yeah. From amateurs to legends, it's all the same heat. One wrong move might sweep defeat. High octane stakes climb mile by mile. Peacemakers mic hot, added flames to the style. Speed demons on the track, hearts racing with the sound. Slide tight in the curves, sparks flying off the ground. Victory's a beast, it don't come easy. Wheel to wheel racing, the grind stay greasy. Greasy, the grind stay greasy. The grind stay greasy. The grind stay greasy.
Greasy.